Today's episode is brought to you by Altoids because, let's face it, navigating the dating world isn't easy, but with Altoids, your breath will be stronger than the urge to text.
You up at 1 a.m. More intense than a rose ceremony and more reliable than your bestie's questionable dating tips.
Like, do the simple things. Make sure that you have fresh breath wherever you go, and you got to do it with Altoids. Altoids is your sidekick in dating. Do yourself a favor and make sure that you have fresh breath. There is no bigger turnoff than stale, stinky, rotten breath.
It's also so easy because I feel like with gum, you always either, hey, I've like a wrapper you got to throw away, or you're like the gum gets nasty and you're like, where can I throw this gum away? With an Altoid, it's just so easy to throw in your bag, so easy to just dissolve in your mouth, chew it up, fresh breath immediately.
Altoids is the strong, reliable, and intense boost of freshness that young professionals and single minglers need to be their authentic selves in daily life. When walking into a high-stakes moment, if you have Altoids, your breath is one less thing you have to think about. When it comes to needing confidence and security to show up as your original self, Altoids has you covered.
They're not just mints, they're curiously strong mints.
Find Altoids in the checkout aisles. Grab your tin today.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another electric episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I am your host, Nick. We got,
Whoa.
Scooter.
Mama Scooter.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it.
Yeah, this will be my last appearance for a little while.
And
then I'll be back.
Will you?
I will be back.
Okay. She says she'll be back.
She'll be back with the baby scooter.
Yeah, she got a baby scooter.
Yeah, baby scooter.
Baby scooter.
An extra employee.
Not to be confused with Scooter Brown.
Oh, no,
No.
never.
Never.
Literally never.
Not at all. Just a Vespa.
Yeah, Leia is going on maternity leave as of actually last Friday. We're recording this.
Or today.
I'm not here today.
You're not here today?
No.
No, you're already gone.
I'm already gone.
Are you being induced today?
I'm being induced tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And when we say today and tomorrow, we mean like when you're listening to this.
Yes,
Not
when
to
you're
confuse you
listening
guys.
to this, I will be scrambling all day today to get everything in order, and then tomorrow I will be getting induced. And this is all if I don't go into labor before then.
Okay.
You said you packed your bag already, right?
Yeah,
So you're prepared there.
Yeah.
I was playing classical music for Leia's baby earlier.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a present. She's like, and then I just held the computer up.
Well, I'm gonna miss you. That's for sure.
I'm going to miss you guys a lot, but I will be around.
I think we're gonna miss you more than you miss us.
No.
Aw.
No, and I'll be back. I will be back.
Yeah, we really hope this kid is not needy
Me too.
because we need you. Anyway, we have an amazing episode lined up for you and a great week. I don't know if you are still catching up on Love Island, but if you are, don't forget we have an explosive going deeper interview with Kayla from last week. She gets into all your burning questions regarding her relationship with Aaron, where they stand, what their future looks like, if there is a future. Obviously, she addresses the hot mic situation where she was allegedly talking shit about Leah. We have Janae and Kenny on this week, another special episode of Going Deeper, and plus our reality recaps both Tuesday and Thursday. So
This Thursday was my favorite one. Last Thursday.
Hawk to a Girl?
Talk to a Girl.
What a sweetheart.
That was so fun.
America's sensation, America's sweetheart, according to Rolling Stone magazine, and our favorite influencer, Hawk to a Girl, talks about her ex. It's hilarious. It's fun. She's very sweet. So
You took a bit of a beating, but you
I did
recovered.
Hawk to a Girl really laid into me. Yeah, I'm still recovering. So yeah. Anyway, so go back and check those out if you haven't already. Plus, again, jam-packed episode for you this week. We're working hard to keep you guys entertained and inspired. And also when it comes to these Ask Nick episodes, it's still my favorite. I don't know if you guys care to know that. Yeah, I feel like this is where we have the most impact. You know what? Maybe I've taken away from what we do on Reality Recap or Going Deeper. I think people rely on us for their entertainment and their escape from reality.
I feel like a reality recap is like a distraction, but like Ask Nick is the education.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So obviously sharing these episodes, telling your friends, especially ones that are going through it from a relationship standpoint, you guys spreading the word is what makes us the most successful and allows us to keep the lights on. And yeah. Anyway, what are we getting into before we get to our callers?
Well, speaking of icks,
Yes.
There was a article that came out the other day where they did a survey of single people who all revealed the 30 worst messages to send a potential match.
Okay.
So it's a pickup line gone wrong. So
via like a dating app.
yeah,
Or
that's what the survey's based in.
Okay.
But you could apply them to real life too. So I figured we could go through them and maybe come up with some better alternatives.
Okay. 30. The 30, are they ranked or are they just in no specific order?
There's a percentage.
So we have the top 6 and then we can go through like the miscellaneous ones.
Okay.
Yeah. 45% of people, and this is out of 2,000 British singletons. So 45% deemed send pics as the rudest bit of banter, followed by the eggplant emoji with 45%.
Duh.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
Are
do
those
that.
considered pickup lines?
Gone wrong, yeah. So a lot of people
worst
are
messages to send a potential match.
A lot of people are sending this on dating apps thinking it's like a yes, married. Let's
I'm
go.
shocked.
People think these are good things to send.
They do. They're sending it.
Enough people have sent it that 45% of people have deemed that it's not a
Do
good
we assume
thing to send.
send pics means send nudes immediately?
Yeah.
For sure. If you're sending an eggplant emoji as well.
Oh, the send pics is accompanied.
No. So it is separate, but I'm saying like if the top ones are send pics and eggplant emoji, then I'm assuming those are like the sexual ones.
Okay, what else we got?
What would you do to reply to that? I would just send a picture
knife.
of like
The chopping board.
Yeah, we should come up with also like a good just like comeback line to this.
Every lady, next time they go, every single lady on the apps, next time you go to the grocery store in the produce aisle, take a picture of an eggplant
And send that back.
and send that back.
Or what about like a mini cucumber?
Sure.
Well, so here's the third one. Hey, sexy, what's your number?
Oh my God.
A little outdated, no?
It's a little forward.
Very forward.
Okay. Next
no is a reply. No.
one. No, period. Next one is, do you like bad boys / bad girls?
God. You know, one could argue these are actually very helpful pickup lines. They're very revealing.
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's an immediate no.
But someone sent that thinking like, yes, this is it.
All right, continue.
So replying without me when they say they're going to shower.
These are all people who haven't met in person yet?
Yes.
Okay.
You're so hot. HAWT.
And you're sexy. Came in 5th and 6th place.
Keep going. Yeah, rapid fire.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
DTF? Question mark?
I love how that's actually like not number one.
That's what I thought too. I think most people aren't like literate enough to like use an acronym is what it is.
Okay.
Imagine what our children will look like.
That one's a little weird, no? Imagine what our children would look like.
It's just forward. Like how early in the conversation is that coming?
I'm assuming these are all like,
These are opening lines.
Opening
These are before
lines,
you get
yeah.
off the app.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell me why I should go on a date with you. I mean,
if a
that's
guy's sending
interesting.
it, yuck. If a woman's sending that, I have less of a problem
That's
with it.
kind of flirty. It's like, so like convince me.
It's just coming from a man, it just doesn't land as well.
But coming from a woman, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about this one? I could get lost in your eyes.
Well, that's just cheesy.
Yeah, that is cheesy.
It's just like something people say to some people with nice eyes. It's not original, that's for sure.
Not original, no.
If somebody sent that to me, I'd be like, you're lying.
Look away, close.
My eyes are brown.
blink. Well, next one that's also cheesy. Thanks for not unmatching me.
Have a little confidence.
Yeah. That one's giving insecurity, which is also like a turnoff,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Sorry. I forgot to. Should be your reply.
No,
Oh, you're
thanks
right.
for unmatching with me. Oh, shoot.
Oh,
I
people,
matched.
like, actually just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Thanks for the reminder. Here's another one. I have serious codependency issues.
Like, what?
No,
I'm not a therapist.
he's silent.
Well, what do you think about being upfront?
Well, I mean, serious codependency issues. I'm not.
Can I add
you
you?
have serious communication issues.
Yeah, there you go.
Are they worse than your communication issues?
That's a good reply. Can I add you on Insta/Snapchat?
That's the same thing as send pics.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's just like send pics elsewhere.
fire emoji. Just sending a fire emoji.
Here's the thing about send pics. Let's just rewind for a minute
Okay.
to social media. Well, Snapchat, nudes. Instagram, I have no problem. I think the delivery is off. I think the intent is fine. I think from an intention standpoint, I have no problem with people like being like, do you actually look like the pictures that you're giving me in the 5 that are on your dating app.
So you're saying as like a verification of who you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if I want to confirm that I'm physically attracted to you, and you can call that shallow or you can call that whatever you want, but at the end of the day, like we don't want to waste time with strangers if we don't even think we're physically attracted to them. We don't want to waste time with people who are misrepresenting what they look like on a dating app, you know? And so to like find out what their Instagram is, you know, I want more information, but I don't have a problem with people like wanting to get more verification about a little bit. And again, Instagram is more than just maybe what you look like, background, friends, like how do you present yourself online? This is also like useful information, but like also just the way you shouldn't be asking right away. And if it's offered, if it's available to you, but like it's just, you know, it's going to come across as again, if it's coming from man, it sounds like they're asking for nudes. If it's coming from like
I was gonna say, yeah, send pics is definitely sexual,
but it's also like you can do your research. Like my sister, for one, is so good at like becoming an FBI with these things.
LinkedIn,
and just LinkedIn.
So fast.
Go to LinkedIn. Go to like finding these people and just
Sure.
figure it out on your own.
Also, there's
a
a way to ask for a picture without asking for a picture.
correct.
Like you could be like, oh, what did you buy, or like where did you go, or how was the view of whatever hike you went on?
Right, like if they're on a hike, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll message you later. I'm on a hike. It's like, oh, send pics.
That being said, a lot or some of the more popular dating apps don't let you send pictures on it. So that's where you get like the Instagram cross comparison.
They don't. Interesting.
So
All right,
yeah.
what else we got?
They also, just in general, like just some more statistics from this article, a staggering 89% of respondents said that a dull opening message pushes them to nip the convo in the bud, while just 3 dull texts made them lose interest entirely. 3/4, so 76% of respondents admitted that they have lost interest in someone who messaged too much. So yeah, like it's a interesting balance of just like not messaging too much and then also like the right way to message somebody on a dating app.
You ask a question.
What's your
It's just ask any question. That's
you're saying-
non-sexual.
How are you?
A little bit more specificity.
How was your day?
That's less. How is that any more?
How was the
specific?
coffee you drank during your day?
great?
If I were sliding you had access to their Instagram,
Yeah.
that gives you more options. But ask a question about one of the pictures they have. That's again not sexual.
Oh, for sure. That's a good one.
You know, do you still have that sweater? I don't know.
Do you still have that?
Let me
sweater?
see you in the sweater.
Yeah, maybe they post a picture of their animal. You know, it's like, oh, that's a really cute dog. What's their
Mhm.
name? You know, maybe they show a picture of them like on a trip. Oh, where were you on this trip? That looks fun or something. You know, show an interest in something that they are showing you. You know, like unless it's just a bunch of selfies, then why, you know, that's weird too.
Yeah.
But yeah, ask a question. Ask a question. Take a little bit of time on do they have a bio? Maybe it's a follow-up question that is something in their bio. It doesn't have to be that clever, you know, and even it could be some random question, a pop quiz. You know, be goofy. Don't have it be that serious, but like something that might be intriguing.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say there is one opener on this list that I don't agree with, where it's people are turned off when you say morning beautiful. I think that's cute or that's sweet.
I think it just comes across as a line and cheesy. And why are you like doing that right away? And I think on a dating app, I think there are so many guys specifically that are like being cheesy in their opening lines
Like
before
love
there's
bombing.
any rapport. I don't want to call it love bombing,
Okay.
but that like even if it's from the right guy, it's just going to come across as like,
Like inauthentic.
yeah, it's just they're going to roll your eyes.
We got to you're so hot, HAWT. You're so sexy. Farrar.
I don't even know what
I
that
think
is.
if your first comment, my point is anything to do with like their looks or their eyes or even calling them beautiful, it's gonna come across as a pickup line, you like leaning into like physicality or looks or like, you know, it's like it doesn't scream, I want to get to know you. And what is a big frustration people have on the dating apps? Like, I feel like I'm meeting a lot of people who aren't serious about getting a relationship. They don't actually want to get to know me, yada, yada. So like, if you want to stand out, knowing that like a lot of these people are sending like these kind of, you know, statements or cheesy lines, just ask a question that shows an interest in getting to know them.
So we've got more. We've got what you wearing. We've got does your mate on your profile pic have IG? This actually happened to a friend of mine. Somebody messaged her on the dating app and was like, so that third picture with you and your friend, like,
How do I meet
can
them?
you connect me with
Aw,
them?
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Imagine where, okay, we did that one. Hey, HEYYYYYYY. Justin, I feel like you would say
I do that. I probably did that.
We've all done this. Like, keep in mind, like, I think with dating apps, you get lazy, you get tired. You're like, oh, I'm probably like saying, oh, ask an original question. And people are just like, oh my God, I just have to think of another question. Again, don't overthink it. Just like go to their 5 pictures, go to their bio.
What if their bio is empty? Because a lot of people think it's doing too much if your bio is like an essay or a paragraph. Like it has to be like 4 emojis and 1 sentence.
I agree.
So respond to the emoji.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could tease them about their nothing in their bio.
Yeah, true. There you go.
Most of the guys too, like probably don't even know they didn't have anything in their bio, or you could be like, wow, I was really captivated by, I learned some, I don't know, like, don't overthink it. Just ask a question. A question is something that people feel like they have to answer. People don't inherently like to be rude. If you ask a question, immediately some people will feel like they should respond. Hey, what are you applying to? Hey.
What am I supposed to do with that?
It's not,
hi.
Bye.
Fire emoji? It's like, I know.
I was going to say, if you didn't know the context or the bio of the person and someone asked you, what's the first message I should send? What's like a general message you would say to send?
If they what? Didn't?
If you didn't know like what the bio said or what the context was.
Look at how many pictures and then just ask a question about something that's in the picture.
Okay, there you go.
Bio.
And make it not about their looks.
Well, here are a few questions not to ask. Why are you single? You up? Yours or mine? What's up? WYD, what you doing?
Yeah, none of those vague things. Specificity. You can have like a joke. It doesn't have to be all that clever.
Yeah, some of these are just morning beautiful though. I'm not so upset by.
I can see why it's doing too much, but I'm like, you know what?
I
am beautiful and good morning.
Maybe like a little later into chatting.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like not right off the bat.
Because beautiful is not like overly sexual or like looky. It's more like you are beautiful and good morning.
Yeah.
I could see why it's doing too much though.
Oh, I think we're all kind of answering this from a point of view of like women receiving these from men.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I just don't think morning beautiful being the first.
What about morning gorgeous or hey gorgeous? Because that's a common one I've heard of.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the whole article.
Okay.
But yeah, first impressions are important and less is more.
We've all used these things. I mean,
have you used some of these?
Oh, I'm sure. I've said hey before. What's up? Or
yeah, well, you can say hey, just not with
what are you doing
that many Ys.
not even tonight. Like you're
I will say, I just thought about this. My freshman year of college, someone that I talked to for a brief moment, like he opened with "What's crack-a-lackin'," and I was like, oh my God, not like what's up, it's what's crack-a-lackin'. So in my head, I was like, this is very like unique, whatever. And I found out every person he messaged was what's crack-a-lackin'.
Ew, I hate that.
I was like, okay, laziness.
I remember replying to someone saying I just screamed with excitement.
Oh, that's cute.
Because they
matched.
Yeah.
You said I just screamed with excitement.
Yeah. And what did she say? Bye.
She wrote back. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. We went on a date like 2 years later.
2 years later?
Yeah. Long story.
Were you still screaming with excitement?
No.
That's not a great one, Nick. I'm not gonna lie.
What? I just screamed with excitement?
Yeah.
That's the same thing as hey, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful.
How is that?
Where it's like acknowledging that you were excited or that you like love the person or like the person.
I felt like coming from me, I just screamed with excitement was something that caught them off guard because they would have expected a more like, hey, beautiful or hey, sexy and not like, like.
That is true. That is true.
Just stand out, be a little unique.
I imagine you just like laying in bed, just like not enthused at all and just typing, I just screamed with excitement.
Oh my God.
I remember being excited. I remember her
screaming?
No, I didn't scream. Yeah, you show a little vulnerability, ask a question that shows an interest in them. Don't be sexual. Don't be lazy. Don't say what all the other, don't make it seem like you say this to everyone, like try.
Well, it's also like if you're applying for a job, for example, and you're just sending the same cover letter to every single job, you're not going to get a return like you would if you were making each one personalized. And like, yeah, it takes more effort, but like you'll stand out that way and you'll actually get a job rather than just like shooting off emails that are just like blanket statements. Like you're not going to get the same return.
Yeah. All right. Ask questions, mix it up, have some fun. And don't, hey, morning, beautiful. Does it offer any things that does it offer any things that you should say?
No, we've also got did it hurt when you fell from heaven?
Oh God.
Oh, wait, hold on. There was one that I really liked. I think my Spotify is broken. You're not listed in the hottest singles.
Absolutely not. That one's just like cringy.
But like these are all lines. They're either lazy sexual questions or they're cheesy lines.
Yeah.
Well, that's the part where the article was like, there's an in between. That's hard to.
What if it's just like, I mean, even this is not that great, but it could be like pop quiz. You're stranded on an island. You get 2 movie choices. What's your go-to? It's a harmless question, might start a conversation. If they don't want to answer that question, they're just not that into you. Like they have second thoughts about matching you. Because it's just like, you know, even if you don't watch, you know, it's like, well, what if they don't watch movies? All right, whatever. Like, again, it's like, it's such a basic, it's a kind of a first date question. What would you ask someone on a first date? Big plans? You know, I don't know, big plans this week. It's just more like, again, yeah, I think more just like, you could play this or that, literally, you know?
I think it's also important to think about like how you'd reply to the question. It's like, if you don't have a response to this, like you shouldn't be asking it.
Yeah, don't ask about politics. Shit like that. We got a great episode for you. Don't forget to send in those questions before we get to our callers to asknick@theviallfiles.com. Again, we got a great week lined up for you. Hope you enjoy these calls. We'll see you tomorrow on Reality Recap. Then we got Janae and Kenny on Going Deeper and more.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Casey. I'm 35. I'm from Texas. My baby daddy's in jail and I don't know what to do.
Okay. How long has your baby daddy been in jail?
April 20th, he got arrested.
Okay. How old's your baby?
She just turned a year old July 1st.
Oh, congratulations. That's my brother's birthday. What do you do?
He got in a car accident, injured 2, I say kids because they were 17 and 18, and then he took off running and left them there.
Are they okay?
They are now. They were actually, one of them was pretty much in an induced coma for about a month or 2, and the other one actually kind of walked away after a couple of days. So, but one of them was got really messed up.
Was he drinking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he had just left a bar. I don't know the whole story. I've gotten bits and pieces. He hasn't went to trial yet, so I haven't got to hear the whole story. But from what I understand, he was leaving the bar. It was like 3:00 in the morning. It was storming, and he was driving 90 miles an hour and T-boned this other car. And they both flipped. The kids, they had to get care flatted and everything, and
the kid who had induced coma, could they have any type of long-term brain damage?
It's going to be a long road to recovery.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not friends with any of the people that got in the car accident or anything like that. I'm really not aware of who they really are. So it's just kind of what they allow me to see on their Facebook page kind of thing. And it's mainly through the GoFundMe that they've set up.
Do you know if they're able to make a full recovery?
Yes, they are. They both should be good. So,
all right. Well, that's good. What was your relationship with your baby daddy prior to him going in prison?
So this is the embarrassing part coming. I literally did not know the man. I say it was kind of a one-night stand. It was like 3 nights in a row. We kind of hooked up, we hung out, and 5 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant and tried to tell him about it. And he did not want to believe me. He tried to tell me it wasn't his, the whole spiel on that. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and fight and argue with him for months. So every time I had doctor's appointments or any sort of updates with my pregnancy, I would reach out to him, let him know, invite him if he wanted to come. He pretty much just ignored every message, ignored me, never would answer until he went to jail. Now he wanted to be involved when it's like, okay, now you can't be involved, so don't have much of a relationship with him. So it's yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I don't think why do you feel stupid?
Well, because being 35 and having a child with a one night stand and now he's in jail, it's kind of like I definitely should have known better. But
are you enjoying being a mother?
It is the absolute best thing ever in my life. She has saved my life. And I'm going to get emotional.
That's awesome. Be emotional.
She has saved my life, and I couldn't imagine my world without her. to be honest.
That's all that really matters, right? So
Yeah.
knowing that's the case, let's stop with the self-limiting beliefs and the self-shame. What are you embarrassed of? You were a 33, 34-year-old woman who got a little horned up, had some fun, had some casual sex. You're allowed to do that, like you got pregnant, like you certainly didn't plan it. Many people before you, that's happened before, that could literally happen to anyone. It's happened to a lot of people, and things didn't work out for a variety of reasons. Like there's no point in judging yourself. I think you really need to focus on just like what your daughter has brought to your life. And like I think it's safe to say, as crazy as this all sounds, if given the choice between having it not happen and having it happen, you would choose, if this was the only way you could ever be a mom, you would choose this every day, every moment. You would never second guess it. Right. So that's all that matters, is you have a daughter that you love, and you love being a mom, and she saved your life, and how it came to be is inconsequential and stupid and meaningless. And like, you got to stop judging yourself for it.
Yeah. And I think that's where it's like the hard part going into dating now that she's a year old. I'm really coming into being a mom and getting really comfortable doing it, and doing it pretty much alone. I do have a good support team and a good village around me, but for the most part, I do this alone every day, and it's hard to put that aside in the dating world. Like when we start to talk about, oh, you're a mom, where's the dad, and how did it happen, and it's like I feel like I get judged, and so then I in turn judge myself even more.
That's understandable, and that's normal. Maybe we don't need a date right now.
I've thought of that too.
And listen, I'm not telling you not to date. And if you want to go out there, like, as we all know, for variety, for a million different reasons, for all different types of people, dating is hard. And so we know that, right? And right now, you are a single mother who's got a daughter who needs you. You have your circle that's helping you. And it's just like, if dating is bringing you more stress than it is joy right now, like maybe it's just not the time. Like, never close the doors and windows to the rooms that you hope to fill. I don't know if I made that up. It's in my book, but I came up with it. Like, sometimes I don't honestly think I come up with an original thought, but I always kind of like say things differently. But you get what I mean by that,
Yeah. Yes.
But there's a difference between that and going out of your way and forcing a situation, right?
Yeah.
So like, you can leave the door open. It doesn't mean you're leaving the door and the windows open to the rooms that you hope to fill is different than putting a bunch of like wanted signs or help signs or hiring now signs, or like, and asking people to line up outside your doors and windows and start like doing, massive interviews and things like that. It's just more like, you're not going to really let anyone know you're open for business, so to speak. But if the right person were to like peek their head in the door, and while you're busy doing a bunch of other things, say, hey, let me convince you as to why I'm the customer you should like take the time for, it might reveal itself. It's just, you're going through a lot right now. If you got the stamina, if you want to go out there, right? But like, your baby's 1 year old, your baby daddy's in prison, you're struggling trying to figure out like, what should I, we'll get to him in a second, but like, you're struggling to figure out like, do I let this, do I not let this guy in my life? Do I not? What should I do? Is it sincere? Yada, yada. So you have all these questions, a lot of things that are preoccupying your time. You might not be your best self right now for your future partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so like, again, if an opportunity comes up, like, how are you dating? Are you on the apps a lot? Are you, how aggressive are you out there trying to date?
That's one of my things, is like, I'm pretty much just on an app.
Okay.
Pretty much one app.
Okay.
And I haven't met up with anybody. I rarely really even reply, just because of the time, like with her, and it's really hard. And I don't get to go out much because I don't have a sitter to say. I mean, I have friends and family, but they already like babysit her during the days. Yeah. And so it's like, I would hate to ask them to watch her in the evenings. And then I just feel I have the mom guilt. And it's just, I go back and forth, and it's like you said, should I even be trying to date right now? And then part of me is like, well, I wouldn't mind some companionship, and some adult time, and some fun adult time, and So it's definitely
well, you are entitled to both
it's
those things.
hard to navigate.
Yeah. But like, as you know, you can have adult time and fun times without boyfriends being in the picture,
Yes.
you know? And I think you have to remember that. I think sometimes, listen, no doubt, 35-year-old single mom, no doubt that you were probably anxious to find love in a secure relationship and someone you can count on and have that companionship. You know, we all desire that, most of us at least, right? Hasn't happened for you yet. Maybe, I'm sure you've had some relationships in the past where maybe you thought you were close or whatever, but you are only 35. And in just trying to offer some perspective, I have no idea whether you want more kids, you know, at 35, obviously. And I want to recognize that as a man, I have no idea what it's like to deal with a biological clock and things like that. But again, you weren't planning on having a kid, and here you are, this blessing that you have as a child. And maybe that's like, you know, I'm not a big fate guy, but like maybe that is the world telling you, no matter what happens, you have your daughter.
Yes.
Biological clock aside, maybe this is the only, I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to happen for you in the future, but like now you can rest easy and know that no matter what happens, no matter how long I have to wait for my person, I will always have her. And I hope to find my person sooner than later. I hope to have more kids if that's the case, but I do have her, and I'm always, you know, you will always have that. You'll always have that blessing.
I think another like thing for me, and I know, you know, the whole cliche is when you stop looking is when they come, you know, and it's like, okay, it's not that I'm necessarily trying to look, but I think it's just watching her grow up and watching her just every day, the new things that are happening. And it sucks that she doesn't have both there to celebrate her and all her milestones. And it does. It's where it's like, I want both for her, you know, like I think a little bit more than for myself, but I do want it for myself as well. But it's like, I want her to see her mom happy.
Sure.
Aside from happy with her, of course, you know, like,
okay, so you're saying a lot of things right now, all of which are valid. One, you want this for your daughter. You want her to be able to share things. Unfortunately, we can't always get everything we want at the same time. But back to the thing where you're kind of contradicting yourself, where you're having thoughts that just aren't doing you any good. You need to accept the fact that this is how you were given this beautiful gift that is your daughter. And that is, you had a one-night stand with someone who may not be the best person, or certainly someone who is at least troubled and hasn't figured themselves out yet and is going through the shit. For better and for worse, that is her father. But as we pointed out moments earlier, that you wouldn't change that for a second, because she wouldn't be by your side. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you just have to accept the fact that this is her father. And despite not being the most picturesque situation, to start wishing it was different would be to wish something that you would never wish away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's just every time you kind of catch yourself feeling bad about your current situation, you got to look at your daughter and then like, well, a different situation would be to not have you in my life. So you got to stop doing that. And you just have to deal with the situation that you have. You know, it sucks that he is now facing these criminal charges and he did that. And that's something that, you know, as your daughter gets older, you're going to have maybe some tough conversations. And I don't know when you're going to have those conversations. Professional, I'd seek their advice, you know, in terms of child development and a therapist. And when's the best time to have these types of conversations about who her father is, assuming he's not involved? Who knows? Maybe this will be a wake-up call for him. I don't know. How many years of prison is he even facing?
Life. He's facing a life sentence because this is his 4th felony.
Okay.
Which I didn't know any. I know it gets just worse and worse. But I didn't know any of this until after the accident, and I paid for a thorough background check on him and realized, oh, wow, this is not the
not a good dude.
Guy.
Yeah, not a good dude. But listen, It is what it is. You wouldn't change it. Got to keep reminding yourself of that. You know, I don't know if it's God or fate or whatever. I don't know who's the person who's pulling all the strings, or if it's just pure chaos. But these are the strings that have been pulled for you. And despite it being messy and not what you pictured for yourself, as you pointed out, this little beautiful baby changed your life. And I think that's the message more than anything I want you to leave this with, is that like anytime you have like a negative thought about your situation, and your situation, make no mistake, sucks. But the silver lining is that like you wouldn't trade that shitty situation for anything, because to do that you wouldn't have her. So let's focus on what you do have, and let's focus less on what you don't have.
Oh, yes.
All right. And that's just like an exercise that I want to like convey to you, because, you know, you're going to get off the phone with me. And again, like I can say this all I want to you, but as a human being, there's a lot of things that I know I shouldn't focus my energy on, that every day I have to check myself and remind myself, and be like, you're doing it again. You got to stop. You know, let's channel your thoughts and energy in a more productive space, right? So every time, and it's going to happen multiple times a day. It's, you know, I'm saying this to you right now, you're getting off the phone with me a couple hours later, there'll probably be some thought that makes you, you know, justifiably so, feel bad for your situation. And when that moment happens, right, instead of going down that path and that thought process of, man, that fucking sucks and blah, 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 and what should I do? You go ahead and look at your daughter and be like, you know what? I got her. And then when you think about like what should you do for yourself in the future? All right, like wishing your daughter had a father who wasn't in prison right now, who wanted to be involved, who was sharing in those moments. I totally get, like, you wish that would be possible, but you just have to accept that that's not your situation. And despite it being shitty, things could be shittier. There's a million justifiable reasons for you to feel sorry for yourself. There's many more reasons for you to be happy with your situation and grateful. You could look at in the mirror and say, oh, I'm 35 years old and I'm single. That sucks. Or you could say, I'm only 35. I don't know when I'm going to leave this earth, but I plan on it being many, many, many years from now. And yeah, I'm worried about my biological clock, but I got my looks. I got this beautiful face and this beautiful baby. And again, like I got a great support system. A lot of people in your shoes don't have that great support system. Thank God you have that. And even if your great love comes, let's say 7 years from now, and I know that's not what you want for yourself, and I know it's not ideal, you will have your daughter. And again, maybe I don't know. I don't know what that would mean for your ability to grow your family or not. But like science is and medicine is always advancing, you know, who knows? But like worrying about what you can't control isn't productive. As understandable as it is, and as human as it is to worry about things that you justifiably have the right to worry about, it's nevertheless not productive. That it's not good for your mental health, and it's not helping you be a better mother to your child, and it's not helping you stay present.
Yeah.
And going out on the dating apps for the purposes of finding a guy to play the role of dad.
And I know that's, I live in a very small town. So I think for me, it just makes it a little harder, because it's like, I want to try to find somebody outside of this little small town.
Makes sense.
And so like, I thought maybe going to dating apps, but then it's like, when I started doing it, it's like the last guy I was kind of talking to for like a day or two. The reason why I cut it off, the first thing he was like, oh, so you have a child? And I was like, yes, you know, she's only a year old. And I was like, well, I didn't go into the spiel about the father being in jail, but I was like, you know, I have complete full custody. I have her every single day. And he was like, oh, well, she's still young enough. I can sneak in at night. And I'm like, oh God, no, like, this is exactly what I don't want to happen. It's like,
well, exactly. I mean, listen, the dating apps is one of those things where, again, they can be very useful and a great way to meet people, but it also gives a bunch of fucking potential, like, not great people for you and for your daughter access to you. And the only way to figure out who's good or who's not for you is to kind of filter through them. And that's going to take a lot of your energy.
And that's where it's like, I was like, I haven't really been back on. I haven't really replied to anybody, because it does take a lot from her. And it's like, I want to make sure I'm completely here for her before anybody.
What do you do for work?
I am a rural carrier, so I deliver mail.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your service.
Back roads all day, pretty much.
You say you work for the post office?
Yes.
Hell yeah. You know, that was Natalie's dream job as a kid?
Really?
To be a mailman. Yeah.
It's not as fun as you think it is, but it's all right.
I don't doubt, but it's steady work, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you transfer?
You can. It's extremely hard.
Okay.
Extremely hard to transfer, but you can. If the easiest way to do it is to find a mutual swap.
Are you happy with it? Like, do you want to do this forever?
Where I'm located, it's kind of the only thing financially that I can't.
Have you ever had a desire to go back to school?
Not exactly.
Okay, that's fine.
I tried it when I got out of high school. I went, and school is just not my thing. I'm more of hands-on. I would rather work than study.
Whatever you want to do is totally fine. I want you to, right now, I think this is a critical moment for you and your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And your energy obviously is not infinite, as I always say. And I'd love for you to just focus on you and your daughter right now. If a man comes in your life somehow, some way that makes you go, maybe this is worth considering, consider it. But take it slow and allow a person who really wants to be in your life they need to prove that to you, because you have a lot going on right now. And you don't have a ton of energy to give right now. So I would just be very mindful of how much energy that takes. And I know you're anxious to find someone, and we all are, and I totally get it. You know, if you were to meet a guy who's pretty good right now and you date him for a couple of years and then you break up, because people break up all the time. And even if that relationship was generally like pretty good, it's like, that was a pretty good relationship. We had some good times, and ultimately it ended because, I don't know, who knows? And then you were sad about it, because breakups also are hard. She wouldn't even remember this guy. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you dated him for 2 years. The relationship for you was generally pretty good. But what you really loved him for was how great he was with your daughter. And 2 years from now, you're like, I don't know. I don't really feel it. And you made a very difficult decision 2 years from now to like leave the relationship, despite him being pretty good around your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't remember it at all.
Yeah.
All those moments of him being, good and playing with her, like she's not going to remember, So like something to consider.
Focusing on her now, and then maybe later on when she might remember would be the time to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, her remembering, I think that's just something to remind yourself of. But I just want you to date when you're really ready and you have the mental energy to focus on it and still be the mother that you know you can be. And it's just like, this is a terrible tragedy, obviously, for the families that were affected, but as far as you, maybe this is in a weird way some kind of blessing. Thank God sounds like these kids are going to make a full recovery. Yeah. Thank God you're not married to this man, because legally they could somehow come after you if you were. So thank God this person, you really have, you were a victim of this situation along with these victims. Do they even know you exist? Probably not.
There's not very many people in his life that know I exist.
That's honestly,
she just her older brother last weekend.
So as far as him reaching out, what are your instincts? Like what have you responded to him?
I pretty much just look at it as, when she gets older, I want to be able to say that I was nice. I communicated.
There you go.
I did everything that I think that she would want me to do.
Yeah.
So like anytime he does reach out or ask for pictures or anything like that, like I do send it. I do answer. I do like I said, things that I think that she would want me to do when she's older.
Great. So I think that's great. Send him pictures. It's her father, give him an opportunity. Like, again, like what really matters is like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when your daughter maybe needs a real like male role model. Hopefully, I don't know how this situation is going to affect him. Let's assume he's going to prison. Hopefully it's not life, but let's assume it's for a really long time. He'll probably make some kind of plea deal to avoid life in prison, if that's an option, But like, he might be able to be a father, even through prison. There's a situation, there's probably a lot of people out there that have some pretty shitty dads who never went to prison. And there's a situation, maybe people who relate to you, who like, maybe this will change his life. And like, even through letters or whatever, he might be able to offer like words of wisdom to his daughter. He can still be a dad through prison, but you don't know what kind of man he's going to be in 10 years. And so and now him being in prison might protect you from him and protect him from her. So this could be a blessing, but right now I think you're doing all the right things. You're sending him pictures. I don't know what you've communicated to him through letters about your expectations, but it would make sense if you voiced a frustration of his lack of being there for you. You're grateful that he's showing an interest now, but obviously given what's happened, you're a little unsure and scared if he's the type of father that she needs right now. And so you can say, listen, she is your daughter. So I will always send you pictures, and I'll always, and I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope that this very terrible situation is a wake-up call for you. I don't really know you. We don't know each other, but we will always be connected through our daughter. So I really hope that you change your life, and I hope that you want to be a good father, no matter what happens with, this trial, or, I hope that you want to be a good father. And I will give you every opportunity to prove yourself as a good father, but know that I'm always going to protect our daughter first, even if it means from you. And right now, I have to be mindful of that, given like what you're dealing with right now. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that you prove to her that you are capable of being the father that she needs. And leave out proving to you. It's about proving it to her. Because like, as far as you're concerned, fuck this guy.
Yeah. No, yeah. From the beginning, I've always told him that she's my number one focus. Her happiness is my number one focus. I don't ever want to take anything away from her. I want her to be able to experience everything, and I just want her to know that no matter what, at the end of the day, that she's loved.
There you go. Yeah, that's all that matters. Listen, this is a terrible situation. We know there's still a lot of beauty here. And your job as a mother, I think, is to try to obsessively focus on all the positive things, especially when you're faced in a terrible situation. And there are positive things to focus on. And the weird, fucked up thing in your situation is like a lot of the negatives that you have to deal with suck. It's more about like, but like you are protected. This situation could be worse. You know what I'm saying? Like for you. Obviously, the victims aside, like it's a terrible, but like doesn't sound like a great guy. And if he wasn't facing prison, I don't know I don't know. We don't know if you and your daughter are safe around this guy. Now you're kind of protected. Like you have custody, you have full custody. Shit, now if he were to try to ever fight that's going to be a nightmare for him. That's what's crazy about your shitty situation. It could be worse. And so let's focus. And again, it just doesn't do you any good focusing on, I wish my life were different. I wish he had a more present father. Again, like that is such a waste of your energy and time, because to wish that would be to wish that you didn't have the most beautiful thing that you've ever had in your life, which is your daughter.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
And so you just have to wake up every day and look in the mirror and go, this is the situation. These are the cards I was dealt. So what am I going to do about it? And while the cards I was dealt, if we're going to use a card analogy, you were dealt an ace and then a bunch of, I don't know, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Right? And I don't know the game we're playing, but we were going to keep that ace and we're going to try to get better. We're going to try to get rid of those 2s, 4s, 3s, and 4s because they're dog shit. They do me no good. So let's not focus on the 2s, 3s, and 4s that you never wanted. Let's focus on the fact I got this ace, and in this game I'm playing, this fucking ace is pretty. It's amazing. It's the card everyone wants, and I got that card, and I'll never give it up. And as long as I have this card, I'm always in the fucking game. And that's the energy you need to bring to yourself is knowing what you do have, and what you have, despite all this shit around you, is all you ever wanted. Keeping your energy and focus on what you do have is going to be the best thing you can do, right? Because feeling sorry for yourself gets you fucking nowhere. It cripples you. Yeah. Like it almost like, it's like you can feel sorry for yourself and you're just like, I don't know. I'm just going to feel sorry for myself. It makes you feel like you can't do anything about it. And that's not true. When you think, all right, here's what I got. I got this ace. It's great. Got the other things I don't want. What can I do about that today? It moves you forward, and you need to move forward. So I would love for you to honestly, you mentioned Facebook and GoFundMe and stuff. And it's just honestly, if I were you, if I were your friend, and if I were in your support system, I would encourage you to get offline. I would encourage you to stop following this trial. I would encourage you to stop paying attention to the victims. There's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? We all know it's a terrible situation. Thank God they're on a path of recovery. Sounds like they have a support system as well and a community, and they're raising money for their medical bills, and that is amazing for them. There's nothing you can do to help them. So being involved and obsessing over this trial and things like that,
taking away more energy that
there's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, there's a world where, as crazy as it sounds, him being behind bars might be the best situation for you and your daughter. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You literally don't know who this man is.
Yeah, several people are constantly telling me that this is probably the best thing. I mean, looking back at his past and being like, look, so
it's possible. Yeah. And again, might be
putting
the wake
that
up
in my head.
Might be the wake up call he needs. We don't know, but like obsessing over that is taking up so much of your time. So think about it. Think about where your energy has been going the past month or so. Men you don't know on the dating apps, trying to figure out who you should give attention to because like obviously, you deserve love and you want it. And then this guy who's in prison and these families you don't know, that is a lot of your energy and time that you are focusing on things completely outside of your control. And so if you were to slow down, focus on that ace that you have, your child, be grateful every day that you look at her. And every time you have that thought, and it's going to happen, no matter, despite me saying this, you will, tomorrow there will be a moment in that day, or maybe several, where you feel bad about your situation. And that's human and that's normal. And you're just going to have to catch yourself and say, wait, hold on, let's just focus on my baby for a second. And goddamn, she's cute. And I'm so grateful to have her. Do I wish I had a man in my life? Of course, I'm going to have a man in my life. You look in the mirror, you're like, I'm hot, I'm sexy, I'm great. It's going to happen. And if it happens for you again at 42, like you're going to have the rest of your life to have that companionship. And I say this as someone who didn't find the love that I wanted for my life until I was 40. And I know as a man, it's different than being as a woman. But again, like you have your daughter and you have that blessing. And I promise you, even if your daughter is the only child you have, there's other options to grow your family, your support system. And we don't know if that's the case. But I'd be willing to bet if you could find a healthy man who really loved you and loved your daughter and was willing to like be a partner to you and a father to your daughter, and that happened 7 years from now, but it was really a great, 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 beautiful situation, you would take that and you would be grateful for it. And you wouldn't look back. Yeah, you might say like, I wish I met you earlier, but you wouldn't spend a ton of energy focusing on, it's not like you would wake up every day and be like, I wish you met you earlier. Why didn't I meet you 5 years ago? You'd be like, I'm so glad I have you now.
Yes.
And I don't know when that's going to happen for you, but it will,
Yeah. I think the road leading up to having her and all the past, excuse my language, bullshit relationships I went through, and then having her and thinking, okay, I waited this long to even have her. And in my head thinking, if I had to wait this long to have her, I should have this fairy tale ending. And now I don't. And
there's no such thing as a fairy tale ending. You know what I'm saying? You have it. You got it. You got it. Like, look, most people aren't that lucky. You know what I'm saying?
No, she's definitely my fairy tale ending. And
I just have a daughter. Like every time I wake up, Nellie and I fight for the opportunity to greet River every morning because she's smiling. And it's just like, that's the fucking best. And you have that. And no one can take that away from you.
I am. I'm definitely grateful about that part, like that I don't have to share her and I don't, I don't have to fight to walk in there in the mornings with her and all that stuff. But
so right now, given all the shit that's going on around you and the craziness that is this situation, just slow down, I guess is really my advice.
Okay.
Slow down and focus on gratitude and focus on what you have. And then ask yourself any given day, look, what can I do to either help my daughter's situation or my situation?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go back to school. It's totally fine. Maybe you want to be a male person the rest of your life. That's also totally fine. But maybe there are, like it's pretty, my guess is being a male person is like pretty steady work. Also probably gives you a lot of
benefits are great.
Great, right? You got the benefits. Like it probably maybe gives you some free time if you wanted to like take up a hobby or a second job to create additional income. Certainly it's more work, but like that's possible right now. And given all the energy that you are investing in men you don't know on the apps and a man that you never want to see in prison, like what if you just looked into like making some little extra cash and maybe a work from home situation that I don't know, like there's a million different ways to make money. And maybe you kind of look into that. That don't require you to go back to school. And maybe that will allow you 5 years from now to move to a different city. I don't know, but I would look at how do I give me and my daughter more options? I don't even know what those options are, but how do I set my family up? And that your family right now is you and your daughter for success.
Definitely.
How do you invest in yourself? How do you, what do you enjoy doing? Like, I would rather you spend more energy, like, I don't know, maybe it's a class or a hobby or a workout class, whatever. I want all your energy to go into your daughter and you. Anything that improves you or sets your daughter up for success, and you being the healthiest and happiest version of yourself is the best thing for your daughter right now, because we know what she doesn't have. She doesn't really have a father figure in her life, but she does have a mother. And let's make sure what she does have, her mom, is the best version of herself. And to do that, I need you to focus on what you do have, and I need you to start, slowing down and stop, obsessing over what you don't have and feeling sorry for yourself and worrying about fairy tales and happy endings. In your happy ending, it's when you die. That's your ending. Let's not worry about when you die right now. Until then, it's just an ongoing story that will have peaks and valleys. You know, we always talk about being the main character of our lives. Well, there's no good story without a lot of tragedy and a lot of dark times. Watch a Disney movie. There's always a terrible tragedy somewhere in the middle, you know? And so if we want to be the main character of our stories, we have to accept the fact that shit happens and we just have to work through it. And right now you're working through the shit. You'll get your happy ending. You'll get your happiness. And to bring more happiness in your life is to just focus on asking yourself, how do I do that? And stop dwelling on what you don't have and just focus on the gratitude.
Okay. You're absolutely correct. And I should. And that was part of my reason on writing in was I kind of wanted your advice on if I even should be trying to date right now. Like I say I'm ready, but am I ready? And then anytime I got on the app, I was like, this is just
as your
like,
friend,
what am I doing
I would
here,
probably,
you know?
yeah, I would probably say, like, of course, if an opportunity presents itself, look into it. I wouldn't be investing a lot of your energy being proactive about your dating life. I would just be open. If everyone asks about your dating life, be like, well, obviously I have a lot going on, you know, like I got my baby, but like I'm always open to meeting a great guy for sure. And just like saying that to yourself and saying that to your friends, even if nothing happens, putting that energy out there into the world matters. I really believe that. You know, it's not going to be an instant turnaround. You're not saying that so all of a sudden people start like going out there and trying to set you up or anything like that. You're just putting that out there into the world. And that's the message. You're not closed off. You're open, but you're happy, but you're just right now your priorities are at your daughter. And that way you're just kind of always looking and available. You never want to be that person who's like, oh, I never want to date right now. Fuck guys and fuck relationships. I would hate that for you.
Yeah.
And I also don't want you to be like, oh, I need to find someone. I can't be happy without a guy in my life. And I just, now that I have a daughter, now do I need to find a man? Like, nah.
And I think that's like pretty much my whole adult life. So this far, you know, before her, it was, I don't really care to, like, I was just dating around, having a good time in my 20s, you know, just living life. I bartended and then worked at the post office, like just living my best life. Didn't really care about relationships. I had a few here and there, but like now it's like, for some reason in my mind, I go back to now I have a daughter, I should have a partner. And it's like trying to figure out
stop saying the word should and have to and language like that. Like stop telling yourself how you're failing, because that's kind of what you're doing. When you say things like I should have a partner right now because I have a daughter, that is your subconscious or, you know, being like you're doing it wrong. You're failing your daughter. You're failing yourself. Like what? Like that's not helpful. You're not. Your daughter's very lucky to have you. You're crushing it as a mom. She's clearly loved. Her mom has a steady government job with great benefits. She'll always be taken care of. You have a support system. There's a million other more terrible situations of kids out there. You have to stop judging yourself. Again, wake up and be like, this is my situation, and I am grateful for it. It could be so much worse.
And that's what I got to start doing is just turning around these negative thoughts.
And then you ask yourself, well, what would I like for myself in the future? How can I improve my situation? Well, I someday would like to find a man. I'm going to find a man. I'm going to. I don't know when. Probably won't be when I want it, but I'm going to. You know, my daughter is probably going to be the person, you know, maybe it's not through words, but looking at her, she's going to help me filter out the wrong men that I probably on my own did a bad job of doing when I was younger. Because instead of like giving into my ego or short-term gratification, I'm going to ask myself before I give in, you know, I'm going to slow down for my daughter, even if not for me. And that will allow you to, you know, filter through some of the bad options and allow you to like bring, you know, men worthy of you and your daughter into your life. And listen, you're going to find, you know, probably going to experience some heartbreak and disappointment as you date. That's inevitable. But the trick of dating is to like stop wasting your energy and time on people who are obviously not good for you and in your situation for your daughter. And it's so hard to figure that out, partly because we get so anxious and so desperate to find love that we just want to find love that we'll make excuses for all these people. And so you need to tell yourself, I don't need a guy, I want one. And knowing the difference between needing and wanting one will be what saves you from considering a bunch of bad options, because it's not worth bringing another shitty guy into your life. So like you have friends, you have companionship, you have a community, and I just want you focusing on that. And just how do you make yourself available? Get out there, you know, involve yourself in the community, whether it's church groups, whether it's some sort of class or project or whatever, be involved, get out there. And the more you're open to meeting people and making friends, you know, the more you will increase your chances of someone worthy of you and your daughter coming into your life. And take your time with all these decisions. It doesn't have to happen overnight. If I were you, I would make a list. And that list is, I would 2 categories. What do I want? And the other column is, what do I need? Now, that want column could be pretty long. Probably many things that you want. But your need column should be pretty short. And maybe if what I need is my daughter and there's nothing else on that list, I think that's a great list. Maybe that list could also include a healthy support system, my job, you know, my daughter, my family, a healthy support system, my job, things that you need. You don't need anything else. Things I want, a healthy relationship, a man who values and prioritizes me and my daughter, more friends, something I enjoy, you know, on the side. All these wants will, you know, those are goals, you know, and then you can start checking over time the want list. Well, how do I get what I want? But knowing that it's in the want list and not the need list will help you protect yourself from making things that you want in your head be things that you need. When you take things that you want and turn them in your head to things that you need, you start compromising your boundaries. You start making exceptions, because instead of being like, well, I want it, but I don't really need it right now, then I can wait. Because if I want it and but don't need it, well, then I can ask myself, is this something I really want to bring into my life? Well, let's ask myself, like, what does it look like? What are the red flags, green flags, blah, blah, blah. But all of a sudden, if you're looking at, I need this right now. Well, you know, you're going to start ignoring boundaries you set for yourself. You're going to start, or your daughter, right? Because I need it. I just need it. I need a fucking man. I just need it. So let's give him a shot.
Yeah.
Because when we need things, we have to make compromises for the things that we need, because we need them. And we'll take what we can get when we need things. But things that we want, that we don't need, we can be a lot pickier.
Yeah, I see that. I see where that can happen. Being, I guess, like almost so desperate that it's like, he's a really shitty guy, but it's okay because he's going to stick around. Yeah, no, we're not doing that again.
So I would honestly get one of those big whiteboards. I want this hanging up in your house, somewhere that you can see every day, and your want list and your need list. Maybe there's a few other things, but I want that need list to be really short. I want that daughter on top of it. I want your support group, your family, your job, and then I don't know what else you need. If you're a religious person, put God up there, God in your life, you know, a relationship with God, maybe that's something that you need, you know. It should be a short list. And then that want list, make it as long as you want. But never make the mistake of putting things in the want list over the need list if it's not the case.
That makes sense. All right. Just one of those things where it's like, having to recalibrate my thinking, you know, and going from that.
I mean, listen, the key
it's like that pity party to like not a pity party.
I mean, listen, the whole purpose of this show, specifically Ask Nick, it's not like I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert. I'm offering a different point of view. And as someone who's had his own shit and will continue to have his own shit that he has to work through, and I am a very lucky person. I've had an immense amount of privilege in my life. And despite all that, like everyone else, I've had to deal with my own trauma and shit. And my ability to have what I perceive is to be a very lucky and blessed life is my ability to focus on what I do have and not what I don't, and to reprogram how I see things, right? And to change my perspective and to focus more on gratitude and things like that. Because it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a billionaire right now and you can be depressed and miserable and feel sorry for yourself, and you could obsess about all the things that you don't have. And there's a lot of people with immense amounts of privilege, time, and money who are really good at being miserable. There's people who have had to deal with terrible injuries, lost the ability to walk, who are happier than people who have everything they could possibly ask for. And so much about life and happiness has to do with the thoughts and things that go on between your ears than anything else. So yeah, it's hard, but like you can do it.
Yeah.
And your daughter deserves that.
Definitely 100%.
All right. Make that list, okay?
Yes.
Now, can you make that list and email it to Justin and prove that you did it? But I want you hanging it up in your wall. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I want you looking at it all the time. I want you to remind yourself, because that's going to be the thing that kind of kicks you back into the right frame of mind.
All right. Yes. I'll do that. I'm going to do that.
All right.
And see how it works out, and it'll help me. Okay. Help me stay in that positive mind frame.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your beautiful daughter.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to protect what we need. We're going to go after what we want. We're not going to confuse the difference. When it comes to your love life, you're going to be open, but not proactive. And when it comes to him, you're going to give him every opportunity to be a father to your daughter, but making sure that she and you are always protected first. And, we'll see what happens. He sounds like he might have a lot of time on his hands to try to be a good father over the years. That's a long game. And we can only pray that when she's 10, 12, 13, 15, he has made the right changes so that he can have a maybe positive role, even if it's behind bars to your daughter.
Positive. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate this and
Take care.
Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, our lives are busy, whether it's taking care of your kids, whether it's working on big projects. Sometimes we can get so busy, we stop checking in with ourselves, and the world can feel heavy and taxing. And that's where therapy can really make a difference in all of our lives. So it doesn't really matter what it is that's weighing us down, stress of any kind, money problems, work problems, family problems. Therapy is great to help us maintain our mental health. And BetterHelp has been helping people jump into therapy like never before. We know the challenges of therapy. It can be expensive, inconvenient, intimidating, and those are the things that BetterHelp is really good at. One, they are working with new therapists every day to help ensure that you can find a therapist that you connect with, feel comfortable with, and feel good about opening up with. It's also more affordable than in-person therapy and incredibly convenient. So let BetterHelp take the kind of all the stresses or discomforts that occur when it comes to therapy. Let BetterHelp help you get into therapy, especially like if you've ever been considering it. Maybe you just struggled finding a good therapist. Maybe you have one right now and you're just not vibing with them, but you don't really know where to go. BetterHelp might be a great solution for you. Again, they are working with new therapists every day. All you have to do is go to BetterHelp.com. You can be talking to a therapist in probably less than 24 hours, certainly 48 hours. And if you can do it from if you have all you need is a phone, a tablet, a computer. BetterHelp is just all about making you feel comfortable and getting into therapy as soon as you are ready. And they're really good at it too. So again, whatever is weighing you down, doesn't really matter what it is. Let BetterHelp help you maintain and prioritize your mental health. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/VIALL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VIALL. Again, BetterHelp.com/VIALL.
There's a lot of decisions you have to make when you have a baby. And the one that I feel the most comfortable and safe making is using Huggies for our daughter, River. I always tell Nick that when River's crying, she's trying to tell us something. And that's the case with most babies. They express it through cries. And so we've turned to Huggies. The new Huggies Skin Essentials are here. A brand new dermatologist-approved line of diapers, wipes, and pull-ups training pants that are all designed with baby's sensitive skin in mind.
Their wipes are so thick and pH balanced to help maintain healthy skin. Their wipes have 0 harsh ingredients for a great, gentle clean.
The Skin Essential Diapers features the Skin Protect Liner, which is what helps take care of the ick and stick that can cause rash. They have this liner built in their diapers.
The whole diaper helps protect against the top 2 causes of rash by managing moisture and runny mess. The liner gives you the barrier to help absorb moisture and lock away runny mess from baby skin. Pull-Up Skin Essentials has your big kid covered too with a training pant that is ultra soft and breathable to help protect sensitive skin through potty training. Learn more at Huggies.com.
Once again, head to Huggies.com to learn more.
Helix Sleep. Oh, well, you've heard us talk about Helix before. We love it. It's truly the greatest mattress of all time. I really don't understand why anyone sleep on anything other than Helix mattress. It's the go-to. Nally and I just upgraded our lake house bed with a Helix mattress, and now it finally feels like we're sleeping at home when we're at the lake, not just when we're at our LA home. It's super important that you get the sleep that you need and make sure that you are sleeping on a mattress that allows you to be comfortable and just kind of ooze into your dreams. They have a mattress for everyone. They have 20 unique mattresses. Personally, Nally and I sleep on the Moonlight mattress. Doesn't matter if you are big or tall. They got mattresses for kids. Their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collection. Plus, again, they have mattresses designed for big and tall sleepers. They have Helix Kids mattresses designed for the growing bodies, endorsed by child sleep experts. It's actually really fun also to open up their box. It just opens up and kind of like a
Poofs.
poof. You got a mattress. You can be sleeping on a new mattress soon. It's amazing, and it's incredibly affordable. You'll be shocked how affordable these incredibly comfortable mattresses are. And if you don't want to take my word for it, you don't. They can let you sleep on it for 100 nights. And then if you don't like it, you can send it back. Also, all their mattresses come with at least a 10 to 15-year warranty, depending on the mattress. And if that's still not good enough for you, well, just know that they were named the #1 mattress by GQ and Wired magazine, and is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as the go-to solution for improving your sleep. Helix is offering up to 30% all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. For our listeners, go to helixsleep.com/VIALL. Again, that's helixsleep.com/VIALL. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Sundays for dogs. Listen, if you love your dog, you want to make sure that they are eating the healthiest possible foods that you can give them. Sundays is fresh dog food made from a short list of human-grade ingredients. I mean, really, what your dog eats will play a big impact on their overall health, their longevity of life, and we know that we want to make sure that we have our furry friends as long as possible. And Sundays is making that possible. Sundays is co-founded by Dr. Tori Waxman, a practicing veterinarian who tests and formulates every version of each recipe. Sundays contains 90% meat, 10% superfoods, and 0 synthetic nutrients and artificial ingredients. Dog parents report noticeable healthy improvements in their pups, including softer fur, fresher breath, better poop, and even more energy by switching to Sundays. Also, way more convenient than some of those other leading healthy dog foods because their air drying process. Just pour and serve. You don't have to refrigerate or freeze or anything like that. It's also easy to travel with if you're someone on the go. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time, but the best part is you never have to go to the dog's pet store again to get your dog's food. Every order is shipped directly to your door, so you'll never have to worry about running out again. Get 40% off your first order of Sundays. Just go to sundaysfordogs.com/VIALL and use code VIALL at checkout. Again, that's sundaysfordogs.com/VIALL or use code VIALL at checkout. How's it going?
Good. My name is Sarah. I'm 34, and my boyfriend tries to control what I wear.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
It was alarming at first.
I guess, what do you mean by he controls what you wear?
Okay. So I met him and I really thought this was a when you know situation.
Okay.
It seemed like all of our morals, values, chemistry, attraction, conversation, it was all really, really good.
Great.
I'm 34. He's 38. We've already gone through ups and downs in our past relationships. You really feel like you know what you're getting yourself into at this point. So there was a few things that he kind of set up front. By date 2, he said that he did have this bathing suit boundary of his. He said one of his ex-flings was wearing thong bathing suits. He didn't like that. And their compromise was that she wouldn't wear a thong bathing suit.
Okay.
This was completely fine for me because I am not even close to wearing thong bathing suits. I thought he was just more of a respectable man, so it wasn't a red flag at first. So later on, I had July 4th plans, and we are going to be around guys and girls. It's July 4th. We are doing a rafting trip. It's going to be a blast. He wanted me to try on my bathing suits for him. So because I was going to be around males and females.
I mean, I love it when Natalie tries things on for me. It's more like, oh, damn, looking good, you know? Yeah. Hey, babe, I got some new outfits. Can I try them on for you? I'm like, hell yeah, let's see how sexy you look. But this sounds more like, all right, well, we're going to be around people. Let's see what you're thinking about because I'm going to go tell you when I am and am not okay with. Was that more of the vibe?
Yes, okay. That was definitely the vibe.
Okay.
It was not something that was going to be sexy or turn anybody on. This was to see if he was okay with the bathing suits I was going to wear. So I didn't think anything of it too much because, like I said, my bathing suits are pretty modest. So I tried on 4 of my bathing suits I typically wear.
So when sorry for interrupting. When he asked, were you pretty much like, okay, sure, or were you just like, why?
No, I was okay, sure.
Why were you okay, sure?
I was okay, sure.
And the reason I asked that is because, sorry again for interrupting. The reason I ask why were you okay, sure, is because regardless of what you think of your bathing suits, he was asking and giving the vibe that he didn't trust you or your take, and that he needed to give you approval first. And to me, regardless of what your bathing suits looked like, it's like you're not in a position to tell me what to wear or what's okay for me to wear. You know, there's a difference between someone saying what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with, and setting a boundary, and then giving you rules and treating you like a child.
Yes. I agree with you. I didn't think of it in that way until a little bit later.
Gotcha. All right. So anyways, you try on the suits. You think they're super modest.
Yes, I do. They're not anywhere close to a thong. He tells me to turn around. So now my butt is facing him. And then he tells me to bend over. At that point, I was like,
kind of kinky.
Okay. See, this is what I did. In the moment, I was like, this could either be alarming or kinky. So I decided to disassociate and like just play into this dom sub dynamic in the moment because I was like, this could be weird, but I'm going to choose not to make it weird.
Okay.
And then he says, I don't feel great with these. He was like, if there was an inch on either side, I would feel more comfortable. So he kind of started getting some anxiety because I was going to wear these bathing suits on the July 4th. Event. So I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a compromise here. I was thinking this way because a lot of other things that kind of came into play later had not surfaced yet. So I was like, is this just a bathing suit thing? I can probably work with it if there's all these other things that are positives in this relationship. So I ordered 4 new bathing suits that were labeled full coverage and they were coming on Amazon. I wasn't going to invest too much into it. And then other things started to surface. I listened to one of the other Ask Nick, and one of the episodes touched on OnlyFans.
Okay.
So I asked him if he had an OnlyFans. Because I was like, there's some sort of like insecurity here that I'm not aware of, or like I wasn't understanding. So he did say he had an OnlyFans.
Hypocrite.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets way worse. He has an OnlyFans. 2 actually.
Oh.
One that is anonymous and another that has his real name.
Why?
There was a girl at his gym who he knew had an OnlyFans, and I guess he wanted to peep on her page and he didn't want his name to actually be up there.
Why would someone want their name up there?
I have no idea. So I would assume all of them are anonymous, but I guess not because he has 2.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. And in addition to that, he follows thousands of Instagram OnlyFans accounts so
okay, this is nuts.
It's starting to get very nuts. He kept using therapy talk to kind of make me feel like I was being unreasonable. So he was saying these are a boundary, just like, me not or getting rid of OnlyFans because you think it's cheating is a boundary.
Did you ask him to get rid of his OnlyFans and state that it felt like cheating?
Yeah. Okay. So I did ask him to get rid of his OnlyFans because I was like, if you're directly messaging people for content and paying for it, I was like, this kind of feels like cheating when you're in the bounds of a relationship. So he did get rid of that without much fight.
What about all the follows on social media?
The social media thing, I was like, I don't really care that you are following these people personally. I was like, but if it gets to a point where you're following my family members or my friends or things like that, I was like, I don't want them being able to see that you follow thousands of these girls because it's a little embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, well, as they come through my feed, I will try to start to get rid of them. We really didn't reach a massive breaking point until I figured out about his spank bank.
Oh, Jesus.
And this kind of was the big downfall of everything. So he did take a couple sexy pictures of me, which like I'm about. And then that's in turn how his spank bank got brought up. He has a big USB drive of all of his past flings, exes, like all kinds of pictures that he occasionally looks at. And I said, do you keep these forever? And he said, yeah. He's like, I haven't gotten rid of them. And I said, okay. I was like, personally, I do not want to end up on this spank bank. So I would like you to delete my photo.
Yeah.
I do not want to be on there forever. So he was like, I don't like that you're making me do this, but whatever. You could tell he was upset about that he had to get rid of mine. And I said, well, if you want more pictures of me, I was like, I think it's pretty fair if you kind of get rid of pictures and stop looking at the ones of your exes. I was like, because I don't understand why you're so possessive over this.
But that was triggering for him.
It was a little triggering. And he said, because they're memories. And I said, okay. I was like, this is not, pictures of you.
Did you say, how would that make you feel if I indulged in all my sexual memories from men from my past?
I did have one video that I still had from a previous relationship that I hadn't gotten rid of, but I was like, I'll get rid of it right now. And he said, no, keep it. He was like, I want you to keep it because it might turn me on to watch it later. Like both of us watch it together. So I was like, cool,
Yeah, he's
fair enough.
entitled to that.
So like,
yeah.
but I wouldn't have kept it if he wasn't okay with it. Like it was easily disposable. He told me that he would not get rid of his spank bank until his wedding day.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm glad that he's really good at setting and enforcing his boundaries, but I think either you're forgetting that you're capable of doing both as well, and also you are entitled to not respect his boundaries, and you are entitled to communicate yours. You know, dating is kind of communicating your boundaries and expectations and figuring out which ones you guys are willing to like respect and follow through with, you know?
yeah, so that was where I wasn't sure where to go because we got into a pretty heated argument about that, the spank bank situation. Because like when he is telling me like he is not going to get rid of it until his wedding day, but he also wants to control what I wear. Like I can't even wear a bathing suit
No,
on the 4th
so
of July.
we're going to put a stop to that. I mean, this guy seems, I don't know, maybe not your guy. Like, what's your
Yeah,
gut tell you? Like,
wasn't-
are you guys are still together today?
No, so like, it ended shortly after I
Okay.
reached out to you guys.
All right.
Because in addition to the bathing suits, it got a little bit worse. Like he wanted to know what I was wearing out, like to like girls' night.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, I will give you my worst case scenario. So I picked like my sexiest outfits that I would typically wear. They're not in any way revealing. They're just sexy. So he was like, I don't want you to wear that black dress unless I'm around. And then because this OnlyFans thing come into play, I told him that I wasn't willing to not wear the black dress. And I was like, because I think this is completely appropriate. And if the OnlyFans thing you're going to keep and you're going to keep until your wedding day, I was like, I feel like I should be able to wear this black dress. That was kind of the big downfall of the entire situation, which led to us ending the relationship because then he started to ask me what I'm going to wear to Lost Lands, you know, and I'm going in September to EDM music festival because it's on my bucket list.
And you deserve to slut it up there, you know, like, it's a festival.
Yeah, and it's a festival. And it kind of spiraled because he was like, if you're going to change your mind about this black dress, are you changing your mind about what you're going to wear to Lost Lands? Like it just absolutely spiraled.
I mean, it's just like the hypocrisy and the double standards are unbelievable. You know.
It is. And he was making me, I think what I have had a hard time dealing with is that he was making me feel very unreasonable. Like he's like, I'm getting rid of OnlyFans for you. So why can't you change your bathing suits for me? And I'm like, they're not the same. And I've been in emotionally abusive relationships in the past where they've kind of invalidated my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a hard time trusting my instincts or my gut. I've had to do a lot of therapy to switch that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting rid of people a lot faster now.
Great.
But that doesn't mean it. I'm still questioning it at the end. I'm like, I have ruminated on this we broke up maybe a week and a half ago.
And you're wondering if you made the right decision?
Yeah, I'm wondering because we didn't get to the point of trying on the new bathing suits. And I'm like, would it have stopped there? Like,
no,
would it have stopped
this has
there?
nothing to do with bathing suits. This has to do with control. And again, not a psychologist, so I can only guess and try to read them. And I never met them, but there's just a lot of red flags going on here, right? Like one, like I think maybe there's some projecting going on here. He's like all these women he's following and watching on OnlyFans. He's objectifying. He doesn't know them. He's just literally objectifying because he's looking at these sexy pictures, right? And now he's projecting what he thinks about them onto his girlfriend. And he's probably read some pretty like toxic, you know, maybe if your girl posts a sexy picture online, she's doing it only to get attention from other men. And then he's just like, well, yeah, because the girls that I'm looking at, I'm giving them attention. And if she walks out of the house with something that's provocative or sexy or puts it online, then like, what are her real intentions? And he's only focused on your intentions as it relates to him. And he's not thinking about like your agency or what you're entitled to. He clearly doesn't trust you. You've got a beautiful face. What are you supposed to do? Like wear a mask of your face at the risk of some guy like going at the grocery store and being like, wow, it's a beautiful woman, you know, and I'm really attracted to her. You know, you're supposed to cover your face too, you know, it's just fucking crazy. And then the whole spank bank stuff. And then like, yeah, it sounds like he's got maybe some porn addictions or just some, you know, it's not about the memories. It's about he's collecting notches on his belt. He's got an unhealthy relationship with these women that he follows.
when I asked him why he wanted to change my clothing, he did touch on the fact that he was like, men are dogs.
Yeah,
He was
they
like,
are.
He was like, we're all dogs. And he was like, I don't want you to look like you're single.
What does single look like?
I don't know. To him, it means revealing clothing.
Like,
And
it was fucking
his
Handmaid's Tale
definition of
shit?
revealing clothing is not the norm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been thinking about it nonstop over the last week and a half because I kind of think he's going to come back because of the way it ended.
Well, who gives a shit what he's going to do? I only care about what you're going to do. And when you say, I think he's going to come back, well, you make it seem like you don't have control in this situation.
I do. I almost don't trust myself.
What part don't you trust yourself with?
I'm like nervous what I would do if he reached out, and I'm not fully over it yet.
Well, it just happened. Of course you're not over it. Do you think this is a good person for you?
No, not anymore. I don't know. I think I just have no idea how to tell if it's a when you know situation.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist when you know
It doesn't exist.
Well, you're 34 years old, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone, regardless, forget about romantic. Have you ever met a single person in your life that the more you got to know them, the more they surprised you, both good and bad? People don't show you who they are right away. If they do, you're lucky. Also, people evolve and change. So even if you met someone who was like, oh, like a year, they might be kind of a different person 3 years from now. He wasn't always this kind of what seems like a weird kind of addiction to porn or following women. Like that happened. He probably wasn't this person 10 years ago, but he is now, but more importantly, like when it's just like, yeah, I think you got to get rid of that mindset. You can get excited about someone. You can get excited about their potential. That's all you're getting. When you get excited, when you meet someone that you get like, oh, wow, I'm really excited and I really like him. He seems like a great guy. There's a lot to like here. That's just all potential, and that's not to make you like cynical or not trust anyone, but it just makes you more realistic that like it's just going to take some time to actually get to know these people. How long did you date this guy for?
I only dated him for a month.
A month, right?
Yeah.
So
and
like
I met his family. It was a whole thing.
Sure, whatever. Meeting someone's family isn't the end all be all. Even if it's a big deal to you, you don't know if it's a big deal to him. He didn't meet your family, right?
No.
Why?
My family is long distance.
Okay.
So like they're not where I'm currently at, so it wasn't convenient.
Okay.
But I probably would have introduced him to him if they were closer by.
How many people have you introduced to your family?
Probably like 5 or 6.
5 or 6. And you're not with any of them today, correct?
No.
Do you go through life being like, oh, I really wish I didn't introduce Derek to my family 10 years ago? Boy, what a big regret. Have you ever regretted it? Exactly. So why do we go around and like make the meeting of parents some sort of important ceremony that's some sort of rite of passage that somehow means something for the potential of your relationship? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I guess it feels like a big deal when I do it because I only introduce people that I really care about.
Sure. Yeah,
so,
you
like,
cared about him. You got to know him. You were excited about him. You really liked what you learned so far, which I always say. Nellie and I have been together for 4 or 5 years. We've been married for a couple months. We've been engaged for a year and a half, still learning about each other. Literally last night, we had a conversation that, we kind of bickered a little bit. And I was like, oh, well, interesting to know, but like it will work. Whatever. You'll always learn things about people.
Can I ask you when you knew that Natalie was your person?
I mean, it wasn't like someone to wake up and an epiphany. Once I decided I wanted to give the relationship a shot, I knew that she was someone that I could spend the rest of my life with. And so then I decided to try to make that work, knowing that I could be wrong. And so again, at that point, I was like, I'm going to try to make this. And so every day I focused on prioritizing her and our relationship. And then, quite every day, because that's not actually realistic, but I would check in with myself. I guess the day I knew she would be my person, so to speak, was, I suppose, the day we got engaged. But even then, it's like there's a difference between getting engaged and getting married. We didn't get married. Now we're married. And there's not a guarantee, people get divorced all the time. So it's still up to Nellie and I to do the work every day to focus on our connection and keep our relationship strong. And shit's going to hit the fan, and we have worked through shit. We'll continue to work through shit. When you ask me that question, I don't have an honest answer for you.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just don't know when to know like, when can I just step back and enjoy the relationship? You know, like I feel like a lot of people, when they come into my life, they are.
You're confusing enjoying the relationship with not having to like do the work in a relationship. You know, what do you mean by like when can I enjoy the relationship? Because I'm a big believer that like, you know, when during the courting process, you know, we get really excited about someone. And once we decide that we like someone, we stop trying to get to know people and we focus our energy only on making sure they like us. That's when our ego takes over. Because once we decide we like someone, there's that immediate fear of like, well, what if they don't like me back? Holy fuck. Well, and you get worried. And the ego's like, well, we cannot deal with someone that we like not liking us back. So we need to put all our energy and all our marbles into making sure they like us. So when he's just like, well, listen, I'm uncomfortable bathing suits, you're like, I guess I can do that, whatever. I just want him to like me because I like him so much. And then we stop actually doing the work and focusing on our connection and getting to know each other and being open to the possibility that even though we're really excited, you know, 3 weeks into this relationship or 1 month into this relationship or 6 months into this relationship, we always have to be willing to learn about something that we don't like about this person. Not necessarily to break up and have everything fall apart, but it's just like, okay, well, wasn't expecting this, kind of hard to digest. How do we work through this? You know, obviously you've been learning a lot of things about this guy, right? And some of these things were like alarming, you know, almost like that made you feel crazy. And at any time, to answer your question that you're kind of concerned about, because like part of this is like, you've done so much work on yourself. You've been in some, you know, emotionally abusive relationships in the past. You started dating this guy. There was a lot of promise. And then all of a sudden, like, he started saying and doing things that set off some alarm bells that made you question all the feelings you had there. And then it really made you doubt yourself. I feel like you're seeing this wrong. You are showing improvement, and that's improvement that's protecting yourself. You know, I'm guessing you 10 years ago would still be in this relationship, would still be making excuses, would even feel uncomfortable asking him to delete this OnlyFans, would only be focusing on the fact that you met his parents and it's really good and he does some sweet and nice things and the sex is good and he must really care about me because he's really like looking out for me because like he's, you know, really protecting me and blah, blah, blah. You would convince yourself of all this. And then you would stay in this relationship for much longer than you did. And you would get more emotionally invested and connected. And then all of a sudden you'd be dating this person for a year. And then something else would happen and make you question yourself. And then you'd be like, well, should I stay in this relationship? And then that part would be like, well, you've already been in it for a year and you're 26 years old. And you would think to yourself, well, 26 is so old. I don't want to start over now. But now that you're 34, you're thinking 26, fuck, I was so young. Well, when you're 40, you're going to be thinking 34 is young too. So don't forget that. And so instead of like doubting yourself and being like, oh, I'm still getting it wrong. No, this is progress for you. It only took you a month to figure out someone who was really exciting, had a lot of potential. You know, he's probably a decent guy, but he's got some weird kinks and things that he's got to iron out that he hasn't done yet. So he is not a complete and finished product and certainly not capable of giving you what you need in a relationship. And it only took you a month to figure out.
Yeah, I am proud of myself for that. I mean, from the time I saw really big red flags to the time I broke it off, it was like 9 days.
And so, yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty fast.
That's incredible.
In my world.
And I think you really need to take stock in that and applaud yourself for that. And then you asked the question, well, like, I don't know what the specific question was, but something around like, well, how do I know if it's meant to, I don't know exactly what you said, but what's more important, you know, you are a smart, confident woman. Trust yourself. If you meet anyone, friend, boy, romantic, platonic, and they say or do something that makes you go, this feels really off, then it is. Trust yourself. You can ask more questions. You can see how off it is, but don't let someone convince you that something your body is telling you is off that it's not. And it might not be off to them. You might just have a complete difference of opinion, but like you have to trust your instincts and follow through with them. And don't let anyone convince you that your instincts are off.
Okay. So this wasn't just difference of opinions. This was actually off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he might find someone else who's, you know, I don't know, into this shit or something. But there's clearly a lot of hypocrisy going on. He's projecting his insecurities or his opinions of women or whatever kind of is going on in his brain of why he has this, you know, 2 OnlyFans, a spank bank, this almost like notches on the belt. You know, you have an old sex tape of a boyfriend, like just so like you saving that, you know, if he was very similar to him. But like you would also easily get rid of it. He's like we're setting this weird boundary. He's never going to get rid of it till like he gets married. I promise you, if and when he gets married, he'll have a hard time doing it. And also, by the way, like what your big reward for marrying someone is that they delete all their sex tapes on the night before their wedding. The fuck is that?
Yeah, I was on the phone with him and I said, how romantic.
Right?
Like, how romantic.
Like you best believe he's going to be watching all those videos one more fucking time before he deletes it. So on the eve of his wedding, to his lovely bride, he's going to be jerking off to God only knows how many women he used to have sex with.
Yeah, it's like, it's a painful thought.
It's fucking crazy, right? But whatever. Listen, I'm not here to knock anyone's kink. And if you're comfortable with, God bless you both. But the point is you weren't. And you have the right to say that without anyone making you feel crazy. And that's just, if nothing else, it's just like, I'm just not into that. And that's, if you are, that's fine. But in a month, I've learned that we obviously have just, if nothing else, very different like kinks and boundaries that maybe just don't line up. So I don't want to sit there and debate with you because you guys got in this whole like tit for tat of like, what is weird and what's not weird. Weird is a matter of perspective. And a month in, when you're debating with someone, some things that make you really uncomfortable, and they're trying to argue with you about why you're wrong for feeling uncomfortable, if nothing else, you just know, listen, you're not my person. Yeah. And you stop wasting energy trying to convince them of your perspective.
I guess in my mind, he was in a 7-year relationship prior to me, like prior to the small flings. And he said it was essentially sexless.
Yeah. And in that meantime, he developed a really weird habit and justified his sexless relationship into like following all these women online and getting these OnlyFans, and somehow, and probably in his mind, blamed his partner who, for whatever reason, they weren't having sex. And it was probably both their fault. Who knows why? But he used that as an excuse to like dabble in this, right? And that has changed his perspective on women in general, probably. Look, that's an obsession. Thousands of women, literally, even if it was hundreds, that's an obsession. Multiple OnlyFans, that's an obsession. And that obsession, like
that's what I thought too.
Obsessions warp our perspective of reality. People want to protect their obsessions because they don't want to feel weird and they don't want to feel judged, and they want to normalize their obsession so it doesn't feel like it is. And they're entitled to do that, but like trust your instincts.
Okay. Well, I feel much better about it.
As far as this guy, stop telling yourself you're worried about him reaching out. Yes, you probably miss him. You miss the companionship. Just acknowledge the fact. When you're struggling with these types of decisions, just state what you know. I know that there's a lot of things I liked about him. You know why? Because I'm not fucking crazy. I have pretty good taste. I'm not completely a lost cause. I'm not the 19-year-old version of me. I've learned a lot. So like, of course he has some good qualities that I liked. And even though you found out a lot of weird things about him, it doesn't change what you liked about him. It's not a black and white situation. Two things can be true at the same time. You can like things about people. You can dislike things about people. I'm sure my staff, there's things as their boss they like, and they're probably like, I fucking hate it when Nick does that. And they both can be true. You know what I'm saying? Are there things you like and dislike about your parents?
Yes.
All right. Friends?
Yes.
Okay. So let's stop like driving yourself nuts because the man that you realized wasn't a good fit for you and you chose to separate it, that you're still like missing things that you enjoyed about him.
Okay.
But you have to remind yourself that the things that you did enjoy about him are really kind of like you're not fucking with. And you're not fucking with him because there's some big red flags here. There's some controlling issues. If nothing else, you're just completely on different sets of pages in terms of what is kind of kinky versus weird. He's trying to make you feel bad about, trusting your instincts and your gut. Listen, there is nothing wrong with dating someone early on. And I know we kind of live in a world where men just need to shut the fuck up and they can't have any opinions whatsoever. But I still think it's okay for both people in a relationship to like say, well, if you were on Instagram posting a bunch of like sexy pictures, there might be a place where you'd be like, well, that makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Like, can maybe we, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I want you to do what you want to do. And that wouldn't be controlling per se, or it's a real fine line, but he has the right to say what he's comfortable with. And then you can say, well, what part of that makes you feel uncomfortable? Well, it's just like, well, there is something to be said about like being in a relationship and posting a bunch of a shit ton of provocative photos. But to everyone's different. There's some people it bothers and some people it doesn't. People have the right to change their mind. But it's just having that conversation.
It would have really bothered him.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet, like, when you're in a relationship with a man, if he were to like call me and say, I don't want to be controlling. I want you to wear what you want. But like, maybe it's me, maybe it's from my past, but like, man, this picture makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Like, would you consider, and I bet you'd be far more willing to be like, yeah, it doesn't really bother me. If it makes you uncomfortable, I'll take it down. Versus like, hey, put some clothes on and let me give you permission of what you should wear. And all of a sudden, like, she's trying to account for every man's opinion ever. It's like, well, I don't fuck. Like, bend over? It's like, the fuck?
Yeah. And not in a sexual way. In an approval type way.
And that's fucked. And he doesn't have the right to do that. He doesn't have the right to ever give you permission. And now he's my wife. I don't have the right to give her permission what to wear. I do have the right to communicate what makes me feel uncomfortable and hope that she takes that in consideration, because I take in consideration what makes her feel comfortable. And within reason, we're always going out of our way to make each other feel comfortable because that's what we care about. And again, it's such a fine line, but a lot of it has to do with communication. And then when people are resistant to it, it's like, well, what are you protecting?
Yeah, that was my question. I was like, why are you so possessive over these things?
Yeah. And the same thing, like if you're out there like posting like lingerie on your Instagram every day, it might be a fair question to be like, well, I mean, we're in a committed relationship. I'm just curious. It's like, why do you feel like to need to post this? And it's just, maybe your answer is like, well, it makes me feel sexy. And then maybe that would be an appropriate question. Be like, well, who does that make you feel sexy for? And then it might be a fair question to be like, well, why are you trying to feel sexy for a bunch of people online? And I guess if you want to be in a committed relationship with me, I guess I'm just a little uncomfortable with you trying to be sexy for a bunch of other people. Are there other ways that you can feel sexy that don't necessarily involve you posting lingerie pictures online for anyone to see? And maybe that's a fair question. I don't know, right? That's a conversation.
Yeah.
But the moment someone says, you're not allowed to do that, or you can't do that, and it's fucked up that you do that, like, when you're a single person, you have different priorities. And it's hard to transition from being single for a period of years, transition into a committed relationship. And let's say maybe as a single woman, you're like, I don't know, I've never done that. I feel a little sexy and I'm out there posting pictures and people like it. And it makes me feel fucking good about myself. And I'm fucking single and I have the fucking right to do that. And then all of a sudden you meet a guy and you don't think anything of it. You're just doing the thing that makes you feel good, right? And you didn't do it maliciously or anything like that, but he might have the right to be like, wait, well, and hell, maybe that's how he met you, online for all, and it's just like, well, yeah, hey, I don't want to judge you. That's how I met you. But I am a little, knowing that we're in a committed relationship, I am a little uncomfortable knowing that you're still posting the stuff. I don't want to tell you what to do, but like, am I crazy for asking you to tone it down? And you can decide for yourself. That's a healthy, productive conversation in my mind.
Yeah.
You might be like, you know what? Listen, now that I'm married and I have a kid, I'm posting a lot less shirtless photos. Part of it is because I'm not working out as much and I don't feel as sexy. But like, also like part of it is like, I don't know, I'm a dad now, I'm a husband. It just feels fucking weird. Like, why am I posting thirst traps still? Well, I was single. I guess I wanted that little bit of validation because I wasn't getting that validation day in and out from my wife, who like told me I was attractive and told me that I turned her on and things like that. So yeah, I guess I needed it from outside sources and things like that. And when we first started dating, we didn't like go cold fucking turkey and we didn't start like completely changing it up. We kind of grew into, our relationship and realizing that we only needed each other for that validation. But that kind of takes time.
Yeah, hopefully I'll find something a little more healthier soon. I would like to settle down.
Or not soon. I don't know. Just remember, things don't usually show up when we want them to. Yeah.
Yeah. Crossing my fingers.
So back to this one, just final thoughts before I let you go. Just, he almost certainly will reach out, right? But that's not necessarily, I'm not saying that to make you feel good about yourself. If he doesn't, that's great. Don't let your ego ask yourself, why doesn't he miss me? Does he not regret it? Am I not a hard person to get over? This was potentially very toxic and very dangerous for someone who can admit to themselves had a history of giving men who didn't deserve her way more opportunities than they deserved. Right. So you really got to focus on all the positives and the progress that you made and accept the fact that, like, of course you missed some things about him. He's not a bad guy. He's just not my guy. But nothing has changed. These are not healthy habits that he has. And like, I don't need a project and I can't possibly begin to try to convince him to unfollow thousands of women or turn off his OnlyFans. And I'm not going to have a conversation about convincing someone I'm even considering marrying to delete their spank bank before they get married. That's just fucking crazy. And clearly he is way too attached to this than is healthy.
Okay. That's how I felt too. And even in his last text, he said that he thought his asks were reasonable.
He's entitled to feel that way. And you're entitled to disagree.
Okay. He said, compared to what he can give in a relationship, the asks were reasonable.
Not to you.
Very true.
And you can say it, and that's going to be like, listen, I respect your opinion. I feel differently, and I'm uncomfortable with some of your asks. And it doesn't matter what you can give me, given the things that you're trying to take away from me.
So let's say he didn't have OnlyFans or anything of that nature.
He does.
And he wanted to control what I wore.
It's still weird.
That still weird?
Yeah, man. But the point is, now you're doing the thing that we all like to do, where you're like trying to be like, well, what if he didn't have this? And the fact that it's almost, without being a psychologist or whatever, my guess is the fact that he does have the OnlyFans and this weird attachment to his spank bank is part of the reason why he is so possessive with you about your bathing suits. They're correlated. They're connected. And you're trying to disconnect them and act like as if, well, if he just gives this up and like chills out about this, and like if I give him to give up the OnlyFans and delete the spank bank, then he actually just cares about me. He's not being possessive. No, clearly he has a weird opinion about women that he probably doesn't even realize. And he's projecting his objectivity towards women because he's online all the time, literally objectifying. He's not getting to know these women. He's objectifying them. And they're not memories. They're just, I don't know what the fuck they are, but he's not your guy. And it is okay to really like someone and see a lot of good in them and see a lot of potential in them and still realize they're not your person.
I feel much better now moving forward. If he does reach out, should I just not respond?
If I were you, I wouldn't. What could possibly change? What productive thing could happen?
I don't think anything could change necessarily, especially this soon.
Everything I heard from you is that his energy and the conversations you have with him are him trying to convince you to be okay with his boundaries and expectations.
Correct.
Even if that weren't the case, even if he was like, well, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry I'd come around, I would still like be uneasy because it would just be like him only doing it to get you back in his life so then he can then control you once he's his girlfriend. He's not even there yet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like he's still trying to convince you to be okay with something that deep down you're not okay with. So what's the point of continuing to have this conversation?
I definitely lost trust in him. I think there were things like OnlyFans he deleted. He said he was going to start deleting the like.
What do you mean
Instagram.
Start deleting? That's it might be a long. If there's thousands, maybe that's like an afternoon's worth of work. But like he can do that.
Yeah, like those were things he was willing to do. The spank bank took a lot of pushing, I guess. Like he talked to another guy at his work, and he's married, and the guy at his work said that he should essentially get rid of them.
Sure. Well, yeah.
So he ended up doing it in the weirdest way.
The spank bank?
He said he took a table saw to the actual USB drive and cut it in half. I didn't see it, but that's what he said he did.
Well, that just speaks to his like obsession with it. Listen, this is not a bad guy or a lost cause, but like it's a project, that's for sure. And he's 38 years old, and I don't know. And he's intense.
Not my guy.
Yeah.
He's very intense. He gets a lot of anxiety. Like it's very intense.
Now, I don't want to give you any false hope because I really think it's best that you move on. But the only thing he should be convincing you of is not to be okay with his weird boundary and expectations, but he should be convincing you how much he realizes just how off he was to expect you to do some of the things he asked. And if he's going to do any convincing, that's the convincing he should be doing. But even then, and that's a whole nother conversation of like, can you really, what's he trying to get?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This wraps it up for me. Like I'm going to choose not to respond because I think it will come eventually.
All right. Well, congratulations. This happened much faster than it would in the past. I'm serious.
This is the fastest I've ever dropped somebody after I've seen red flags.
And that's where your energy should go. You're laughing, but that's like I think it's a big step in your life. I don't think you fully appreciate how big.
I don't, just because I feel like I keep making the same mistakes. I'm making.
Are you a mind reader?
No.
Can you read the future?
Definitely not.
So why are you giving yourself such a hard time because you didn't know everything about this guy in less than a month?
I don't know. I think because a lot of people just think they don't actually say this, but it just feels like some people take my dating life as kind of a joke. So in order to deal with it, I also take it as a joke. But yeah, I've struggled in the realm of love for a very long time.
Yeah, me too. It'll be fine. Give yourself some grace. You're making progress.
Okay. Thank you.
Everyone struggles with love, and it's very easy to judge from afar. And I don't know who these people are who are making you feel judged and what their dating situations are, if they're married with kids or whatever, but everyone has fucking problems. And a lot of them just don't want to talk about it. And that's fine because people are entitled to keep their secrets. but like everyone's fucking got them. You know why they judge you? Because it makes them feel a little bit better about the shit they're dealing with.
Thanks, Nick.
You've made mistakes, and all you can do is learn from them.
Yeah, I try. I definitely try my best.
That's all you can do. So stop beating yourself up for not being a mind reader. It takes time to get to know people, and people always put their best foot forward early on. So
yeah,
this was a huge net positive for you, not a negative, and you got to see it that way.
Thanks. It makes me feel a lot better because I just keep thinking I'm making the same mistakes. So like hearing the positive affirmations helped me move on a little bit stronger.
Making the same mistake would be dating this guy for I don't know how long, a year or two or whatever.
Yeah.
Making the same mistake would be like taking that call, letting him back in, allowing him to doubt yourself, and just settling for the things that you do like and putting up with the things that you know you don't deserve.
Yeah, very true. That would have been me probably 6 years ago.
All right. Well, there you go.
Maybe even 3 years ago. Let's cut that in half.
So then we're not making the same mistakes.
Yes. Not making the same one.
You're going to find it someday. I just don't know when.
Thanks. I'm hopeful.
All right.
I'm hopeful.
You're going to be just fine. All right. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Yep. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm 34 and I am text flirting with my chiropractor and I want to ask him out.
Okay. How good of a chiropractor is he?
He's my first one, so I don't know, but I think he's great.
Great. So replaceable. I guess you get why I'm asking, right? Because like
100%, yes.
All right. So if he was like, I've been through so many chiropractors, it's finally the first one that actually works, I'd be like, I don't know if we want to, but it's your first one.
I'm really excited to find a new one.
There you go. Can I help with you crafting a message, or are you not even sure if you should still do it? Like, what are you trying to debate here? Like, what are you unsure about? What can I help with?
So let me kind of try and backtrack and go to the beginning. Like I've been seeing him for probably like 8 months.
Okay.
I feel like we've been flirting for like 6. My mom sees him. He asks questions about me. We flirt a lot in the office. And I always call my mom after. I'm like, Mom, it's on the tip of his tongue. He wants to ask me out, but he's not doing it. To preface, we have like a friend of mine sees him and she referred me to him, and she has a best friend that used to work for him. And so a couple of weeks ago, like the week of the 4th of July, he was flirting with me in the office like we normally like flirt in the office. And he was saying that he had a sunscreen because he didn't have a significant other put sunscreen on his back. And so I was like, oh man, if I would have known, I would have brought you some aloe spray. And he was like, well, I'll be here till 5. And I was like, okay, we flirted, whatever. I left the office, didn't think anything of it, wasn't going to bring the aloe spray. And then a couple hours later, I look at my phone and I have a voicemail from his office, and he had his assistant call me and say, hey, he's still waiting for his aloe spray. He'll be here till 5. Just give us a call back. And so after all of this time of flirting, I was like, okay, he's having someone from the office call me that's asking for it. I'm not reading into it too much. And instead of calling back, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the aloe up there, and I'm going to take them. I make friendship bracelets with my phone number on them, like Travis Kelce. And once I took it back to him, he was like really surprised that I showed up. And I said, next time you want something from me, call me yourself instead. And so that night we started texting, and we've been texting for probably 2 weeks now.
He texted you that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been texting for 2 weeks. It's very flirty, surface level. Like in the office, we talk about like our friends, our families, like what we've done. But it's very surface level in the text message. And I'm just like, I didn't think that I was reading into it after he texted me. And now I'm like, why has he not asked me out? So I'm trying to figure out if I should just be like, all right, you need to ask me out. I'm not coming back.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you have friends and your mom. I'm assuming, to your knowledge, he's not texting with other patients.
I would assume so.
But
you're not
aware of anyone.
Like it took me giving him permission to take it outside of the office by going up there and saying, like, if you want something from me, ask me yourself.
Yeah. And we know he's not married or has a girlfriend or.
Yes.
How old is he?
He's 46.
Do you know anything about his relationship history? You've been texting.
He was married. So the girl that referred me to him, her best friend used to work in his office. So I know a little bit about him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was married. He's been divorced for probably a decade-ish. But he's been raising his kids by himself. Hasn't been dating a lot, seriously.
He shared all this information with you?
No, he hasn't shared anything about his history.
Okay. And you know this because...
The friend.
Yeah. So there's a lot. So he found out that we had mutual friends on Facebook, and he told my mom. And after that, him and I talked about it. And then my friend told me that they started hanging out when they were both going through a divorce, like about a decade ago.
Okay. And
so, and that he hasn't really dated since then. Like it's been like on and off. He has been raising his kids, from my understanding, by himself.
Why?
I don't know that. I mean, ex-wife's crazy is what I've heard, but I don't know. Truly.
How old are his kids?
Older, going to college.
You got nothing to lose other than maybe a chiropractor.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling. I am anxious. Like it makes me anxious that he hasn't asked me out.
Why?
Well, like, so I don't want to be a texting warrior, and I feel like that right now because it's very surface level flirting. Like, yeah, we know about each other, but there's no like, I don't know, it's not significant flirting or like something that gives me like butterflies. I'm just like, okay, we're teasing each other and having fun. But if he hasn't dated, I don't understand why he hasn't asked me out.
From your perspective, how forward have you been with him?
I would say out of the two of us, I'm the most forward. I've asked him to lunch before, like after I've gone to see him, and he like blushes. He gets color of a tomato. It's hilarious. And
so you have asked
for one
him
reason or another, he can't come. Yeah. I mean, and he did come and meet after we started texting. The next day, he came and met me and my friend out for dinner and drinks.
How'd that go?
It went good. It was great. It was my friend that referred me to him, so he knew her too.
Okay.
But I just am so confused why he hasn't asked me out, because it's kind of like developed organically and great, I think.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say great. You said surface level.
Yeah. Enough for him to feel comfortable enough to ask me out.
Potentially, for sure. Yeah. But, doctor-patient relationship, power dynamic, things like that. He knows your friend. He knows your mom. Like, other than like gender roles, and I don't know what your opinions about like whether you should be asking out a guy and vice versa, but like to throw that aside, what are your concerns for asking him out?
I guess I don't really have any.
Sure you do. What if he says no?
I'd be okay with that. I feel like it wouldn't even be awkward for me to go back to him. Like we have a really goofy banter. It's like funny. So I wouldn't feel that awkward. I don't know. I just wanted to give him the chance to do it, and he hasn't. It's been a long time since I like dated seriously or really dated at all, especially with someone like this. So outside of the dating apps. So I just wanted to give him the opportunity, and it's just kind of a letdown that he hasn't, I guess.
Sure. I don't know. That's just your ego. As a guy, it's, as I gotten older, when I was single, it was pretty easy for me to be like, I don't know, it's probably, like, for example, let's say he's had some fun with you, and let's say he thinks to himself, I think she's really beautiful, and she seems nice and flirty and fun, but like, who knows? I don't know. Fuck it, man. Like, we'll probably date and we'll have some sex, and then, we won't date, and then it'll be awkward. So like, I'll just save myself the trouble and just be friends with her. Maybe that's why he's not asking. I don't know. There's going to be a million reasons why he's not asking you. 46-year-old chiropractors got kids in college, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't have time for this shit right now.
Youngest is about to go to college, so he's about to be an empty nester. And from my understanding, if he hasn't been dating, I'm like, okay, you should be ready to have some fun, bro.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's just like been out of the game, Maybe he's just like not, if he really has, in fact, been out of the game that long, that's another reason why maybe he hasn't asked you out. It's just like, oh, fuck, how do I do this shit? Like, if you're overthinking it, he's probably overthinking it. Maybe there's a world where he's just not that interested. There is that. You did ask him out to lunch. And just because someone blushes doesn't mean they're obsessed with you. Maybe it's just because you made him a little self-conscious.
Okay, fair. So I guess my ultimate thought process was I go to see him. I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow, and I go and see him the Tuesday that I get back. And I thought, essentially I've been paying him to see him, and now we're talking, so I don't want to pay him to see me. And I thought about saying I don't think I'm going to book, because I always pre-book my appointments. I'm not going to book my next appointment. And if you want to see me, you need to ask me out.
Well, first of all, you're seeing him perform.
Yes, fair. Yeah, I know. Yes.
Services on you. I guess if you're like, I don't even like how he addresses me, but I'm literally only going to see him, then no, I guess that's a different conversation. But what's stopping you from tonight just being like, I'd love for you to take me to dinner? Yep.
Because I've been the forward one in our situation, I feel like I have to be the one that just says, I think you need to ask me out.
Are you comfortable dating? When's your last,
It's been a while. I've been out of a serious relationship for 1.5 years. I've had a few situationships since then.
But you're fairly comfortable with dating. You've been on some dates recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't. assuming we trust him, right? He hasn't.
Yeah.
So
trust him. Yeah.
Maybe like the biggest reason why it's just like maybe you do need the one who's a little bit more experienced when it comes to dating, who's a little more comfortable with putting themselves out there. Maybe you need to be the one who initiates the date. No one gives a shit who asked who out. Your relationship won't care how you met. And so whether he asks you out or you ask him out, like whatever expectations you have about like the men that you date or how chivalrous you want to be or how, if you have more maybe traditional values and you want the men in your life or the man in your life to play a certain role, like that all can still happen even if you ask him out.
That was kind of my thought process. I thought it's been a long time since I've had anything like serious, and he seems like a good guy, which is why I'm attracted towards him. But I also I overthink everything naturally, and I was like, I didn't know whether to overthink that he's like breaking ethics to talk to me, but that he hasn't asked me out.
Yeah.
So then I should ask him out.
I think
it's just been like too many steps for me to think about, and I overthink it all.
Yeah, that's normal. We all do. So here's if you ask him out, this is what I would do if I were you, given what I know from what you shared. Is that and I'm only guessing. The guessing is maybe he's a little experienced, maybe he is a little concerned about like ethics or just like how this will come across. Obviously, some of his other patients are people he knows that right? So like there's the risk of drama, like he's gonna, which he's gonna be kind of against. So if you ask him out, right, I think it's something like keep it chill, keep it casual, friendly, be like, I would love to go out to dinner with you sometime. And you could, and empathize in a sense, be like, absolutely no pressure. Honestly, I just really enjoy your company and I really enjoyed getting to know you. And you can make a joke. Like, who knows what will happen? If it gets to the point where I have to find a new chiropractor, I'll be sad, but I'll live. But at the end of the day, I'd love to just go out to dinner with you. Are you down? And it might take some convincing, honestly. You'll know whether like you're begging for his attention or you're just trying to make him feel comfortable. Because based on what you're telling me, it's very realistic that this man is uncomfortable with the idea of taking one of his patients on a date, especially one of his patients that has relationships with other patients that he has.
Yeah.
So you might need to make him comfortable.
Okay, that's fair.
And in that message, be like, think about it. No pressure, But just know that I think you're a great guy, and I'm really curious at getting to know you more. And if you ever want to go out to dinner, let me know. And it might have to be kind of that more like not a specific date, but just putting it out there.
Yeah, I like that.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've just been feeling very awkward about it because I am in a very, not me, but just being traditional a little bit. I just want the guy, like I want to feel wanted. I guess I want to feel wanted.
You'll have plenty of opportunities to feel wanted by him. Think about it, right? This guy could ask you out, right? Right now, for all we know, you could be surprised and you could get a text and it could all of a sudden be this sexy suave, be like, hey, beautiful, I've been thinking about you a lot and I've been dying to take you out to dinner. How's next Friday? And you'd squeal and be like, you'd call your friends, you'd be all excited, right? And you'd be like, that's exactly what I wanted him to do.
Yeah.
And then you go on a dinner date and go real well, you get to know him, and then 2 months in the relationship, you could learn something about like some weird expectation or weird thing about him that you're like, this is not for me. And all of a sudden, maybe like you go on a date and he's like, by the way, just so you know, like, I just think it's really fucking weird for guys to ever open doors for women. I don't know. Like maybe it's just like some bizarre fucking weird thing he feels. Like you have no idea. And that will matter way more than how he asked you out the first time. On the flip side, you sending this text, make him feel more comfortable, pursuing him a little bit, making it a safe space for him to take a chance on dating a patient, being the aggressive person, maybe a little bit of convincing in your part, whatever. That's just getting you in the conversation. Then you get to know him. He's going to feel more comfortable with you. You're like, hey, I think we're dating. You're like, by the way, like, and then maybe you have a weird conversation, whether you should or shouldn't still go to him as a chiropractor. You go to someone else. He's like, I'm going to refer you a friend, whatever. Like, let's just be boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's not complicate the situation. It'd make me feel more comfortable. You're like, cool, great. You're not that good anyways. You fuck with him, right? And then from that point, he can start showing you who the type of guy he really is and how he would be in a relationship. You have no idea how he would be in a relationship. Right now, he's your doctor. He's not focusing on how he should act around you as if someone he's potentially dating. He's always constantly checking himself, probably, about like, is this appropriate to do around my patient? So you can't get an accurate reading about how he is in a relationship right now.
Yeah.
You gotta get in that conversation. Right now you have this weird kind of patient-doctor barrier, and like you're not really sure how to act around him. And he's probably just playing it safe, especially text messaging. A smart person, and he's a doctor. I mean, he's a chiropractor, so it's always like a spectrum with chiropractors. But
Right.
it's not smart to be texting incriminating things for someone he doesn't really know or trust. And if
Fair.
I
Yeah,
were him, I wouldn't
totally.
be like going deep in personal via text with you.
Yes. I don't know. I just having his assistant call me got his whole entire office because whenever I had to go back to his office, like everyone was involved. Whenever I walked in, they saw because I changed clothes because I always go to the chiropractor in like leggings and a t-shirt. And then I went whenever I got the phone call, I changed clothes and I went back and I feel like it was like a very theatrical event. It was a small office.
Maybe that scared him. Maybe he leaned in a little bit, was a little flirty. You showed up, got shit from his staff, and he's like, this is too much. I can't do this shit.
Yeah.
We can sit here and break down and overthink all the possible scenarios. But like, I think when it comes down to is we've made a very believable case of why this person, this man, who despite you hope that he would be more, traditional and conservative or whatever it is, he has every reason to be guarded with you.
Yeah.
And
okay, so
and if you want to go on a date with him, you have to make him feel comfortable and safe to do so. Especially a person who's like inexperienced when it comes to dating. If his ex really is fucking crazy, this guy has learned a lot of things to protect himself around people. He's got kids he's raising. He's got a practice to protect. He's not a 22-year-old fuckboy who's leading with his dick, anymore. He's a guy who's he's probably been burned a couple times. He sees the angles, probably so much so that he does overthink as well. Just like you're able to talk yourself out of things, so is he.
Yeah.
That's part of like the downside of, being burned and learning from mistakes is that kind of cynicism and that being scared of taking risk and think to yourself, I don't need this shit. Why bother? And maybe that whole dynamic of like getting his office involved was just enough, was more than enough drama for him that week.
Yeah.
And maybe that scratched his itch. So right now, your goal isn't necessarily to ask him on a date or hope that he like leans in and show you his, macho-ness and how much of a man he is. Right now, your job is to make him safe enough to open up to you more or see you in a different light. And that should be the tone.
I like that because I do have several friends, my mom, people that see him and then I work in a client-based career and, I've told a lot of them and they're very excited about me potentially having a date with him. And I'm like, I just don't know. But our texts have been so surface level. I don't know how to necessarily get it deeper until.
Stop trying to have a deeper conversation with him via text. He's probably not going to do that. I wouldn't ever go deep with you via text if I were in this situation with you. It's a risk. He doesn't know you. For all he knows, you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't.
He might already think that.
Maybe. I don't know. But that's kind of the point. So like, stop wanting to go deep with him via text. You need to get in front of him. Your goal is to get him in an environment like a date or a walk in the park, that doesn't include a third party and allow him to like feel comfortable around you. And you might have to change.
A walk or like a coffee?
Yeah, I'd keep it cash. The message you want to send him is some version of like, hey, I really enjoy talks and I love getting to know you. I'd love to go to dinner with you sometime. If you're ever down for that, I'm always down to finding a new chiropractor if it comes to that. But like, I think you're great and I'd love to get to know you more. And if that's something you're comfortable with, let me know. And you should include that like, hey, if that's something you're comfortable with, empathize with the potential of his discomfort.
I like that.
Your job is to make him feel safe around you. How do you make someone feel safe? Empathize with them. Make them understand that you can put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's 2024. You know what I'm saying? Like gender roles are constantly changing and you can still have the traditional relationship with this guy if that's what you want. Your job right now is you're trying to find out whether he can be your boyfriend via text when he's still your doctor. You haven't even gone on a date with him. So let's figure out if you can get him on a date. And then from there, now I can figure out whether this is someone I even want to get to know really. But you're doing the thing that we all like to do is that you're having fun fantasizing about the possibility of this doctor and it's fun. and to chat with your girlfriends about it. And that's human nature. But like, it's just fun to talk about. This has nothing to do with who he is or your potential of dating. Let's walk before we run.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited now.
All right. I'm excited too. Let us know how it goes.
I can do that.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Thank you so much. Also, love that you guys are watching Love Island now. Finally, been waiting for it.
So good.
But
so good. All right. All right. Take care. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.